Hello and welcome back to Of Lichen and Moss and our Brass and Briar campaign. It is a lovely, dreary Sunday morning over here in our lovely places. So, without further ado, let's roll right into introductions. So,
Right.
roll initiative.
Oh, I forget that we do this every time.
Same.
It's like a happy little surprise. Ooh, that was a nice roll. I wasted on rolling first. Maybe. Oh, we'll see.
Same.
Oh, that was a bad roll.
Do we add modifiers to
Set a
this?
precedent.
No,
Nope,
Yeah,
it's just the straight dice.
17.
We are the
it's
modifier.
pretty much just rollies. Yeah, it's pretty much just rollies.
I'm last.
Rolly.
no.
I got 15.
I got 16.
15. Oh, come on. Think.
All right.
Think.
Dang.
There
17,
we go.
16, 15, 2.
That's a good omen.
you
I've
really
never
do
heard
need
that
to
one.
sleep.
It's an excellent day. Nothing.
It's fine.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing at all can go wrong.
Not a
Not
single
with
thing.
all of our friends here to watch us play an excellent game of D&D.
Not
Nothing
with the
can go
power
wrong.
of friendship.
Friendship is magic. All right. Well, welcome. I am Louis Griffiths, playing the part of Lavender today.
Whose echo am I hearing? That's
Not
loud.
piece of matters.
I know.
Yeah, because they're the same.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's fine. I think I was next, right? I was next.
Yes.
Hi, I am L in motion. Lim or L is preferred. I am going to be playing our rakish barbarian, if you will, Badger. We love him to death. He still has yet to use everyone's actual real legal names, except for maybe once. We'll see.
Howdy, I am Scree, the rat paladin, who is doing his best.
He will be a hero.
He's
Someday.
already he's a hero in,
He
a hero
is
in our
the best
hearts.
of us. I have to appreciate this comment, you guys.
Ratlin. Ratlin.
It would be.
Oh, no, I like the way
Alarat,
the fireball
there's
goes.
options.
Halarat.
There's options, you guys. Anyways, hello. I'm KJ, a very eepy little guy this morning. I play Duke, who is our circus-performing eccentric monk bard, who is just trying. He's trying.
He's trying so good.
And not dying.
He almost
And
did.
He ain't lying. Actually, probably a lot.
He lies all the time. What do you mean?
No, but he's not a lion, so.
He's not a
He's not
lion.
lying.
Yeah.
True.
He is noodle instead. Alpine shadow. Every single time.
Alpine shadow, yeah, bacon.
I love it in my core every time.
Every single time.
We love Duke. He's great.
All right. And then, of course, our illustrious GM.
Yes, and me. Hi, hello. Sir Zatara, you can find me on Sir Zatara on all the things. I am your humble DM that definitely doesn't try to kill our players.
No, of course not. Why would you do that?
No, I actually don't. I like these characters way too much to actually kill them. Maybe we'll see. Anyway, sweet. I believe we have some well-oiled machine. I believe we have some
Flawless.
announcements this morning, or maybe just one announcement.
Yeah, the main announcement is just the same one we've had last couple times. We're planning a giveaway at 250 followers. We're only 12 followers away from that right now, actually. We're very excited. So if you are already here, we love you. Thank you for being here. If you want to tell your friends about us, we want more friends to come in because we also are just really excited to have a dice giveaway. We'll have more details about that once we've hit our goal, but just thank you so much for all joining us on these adventures. And we're really excited. We're 12 followers away. So thank you again for
Would
being
you
here.
like this handful of moss?
This handful of beautiful patented ruby resin rolls dice with license
You
of license
guys,
and moss.
you can
of
you can
license.
have a matching set of dice to us.
Look at these dice. They're so
You can
pretty.
match
They
us.
definitely these dice are not the ones that almost killed Duke. So that's one thing to also keep in mind. It wasn't these dice. It was other dice. We
It
love
was not these dice.
Yeah.
These dice has done a couple things to me, but they didn't.
But they didn't.
Not yet.
Not yet. Also, Ruby, I will admit it took me until like the last time when you were doing the promo post for these dice for me to notice the 3 next to the Ruby. This is 2 to the R. And then I was like,
it's
why
real
is there a 3? And then I'm like, Ruby resin rolls. Anyways. So
It's a little math rock joke.
if you wonder why Kerr doesn't have good perception, it's because I also don't have good perception. So there's that little tidbit. Alright. But otherwise, unless anyone else has other announcements they'd like to bring up. Alright, that's it. That's it from us then.
All right, so without further ado, time for the intro. Let's go in.
All right, murder mystery. One of us killed KJ
Mm-hmm.
during the intro.
Oh no.
And then now you're there to haunt
There we
us.
go. Ghosts. Ghosty spooky ghosts. So, deep below the crust of earth, our daring troop did show their worth. Setting free both worm and slave, they did avoid an early grave. And so, last time on Of Brass and Briar, our troop set into action their plan to free all of the slaves in the underground mines with the help of one large snake creature known as Ostera and their little new worm friend.
Worm.
Things got out of hand rather quickly as our troop barreled through using Ostera as a distraction, freed Chester, who let loose his spiky rage upon his captors, and in the end managed to free all the slaves with no casualties, even though we did come close, with Duke dropping 2 death saving throws and getting 1 roll away, a large ghostly raven creature looming above them. But thankfully, they avoided meeting the breath of Thomas this time, and thus things ended. Whoa, there's too many sounds happening in my ears right now. I apologize, everyone. One sec.
Okay, boss.
There we go. That's better. Okay. Things toning down, the battle done, some reconnections were able to be made. Lavender talking to their dear friend Puddle and revealing some secrets of their not so great friend Cobble, who seemingly has turned sides in this conflict. Scree reconnecting with Chester and getting a little bit of a confidence boost and a referral to join the illustrious guild, the Heather's Vigil, in the city of Amloa. Duke slowly recovering, and Kerr kind of sussing out what the strange kind of side eyes Duke was getting were. So, with Duke on the mend deciding to stay below, and Kerr, Scree, and Lavender deciding to go into the elevator along with Chester and their new German Shepherd friend Grundle, escalated up the elevator to see what was outside, realizing as they progressed up that they emerged out of an ancient olden times well and into a large open glade. And that, oh, I nearly forgot. We also met two illustrious characters who are going to start their own art group in the form of the only two people that our crew spared. The other one and what was his name?
Names?
Jimmy.
I almost
The other one and Jimmy.
The other one and Jimmy. It's the other Jimmy. They're both named Jimothy, probably, but this is the other one.
they didn't have names before that.
They didn't have names before that.
7 years and I still don't have a name.
There wasn't time to make one during the break, so obviously. They're both rat folk, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Scree's trying to teach them the better way to be.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
And so our trio emerges from the top of the elevator out of this old ancient well, and that is where we're going to pick up today. So, as the three of you, along with your two compatriots, emerge out of the top of this well, around you is a wide open glade, tall grasses sweeping back and forth as a light wind rolls through. And in the distance, about 60 acorns away, you can see just a small tree line that's broken up by what looks to be the dilapidated remains of an old stone building. Stone walls that have slightly crumbled, windows, a large red, like weathered red wooden door, and a thatched roof on top with a beam sticking out. It seems to be the remnants of an old farmhouse. Looking around,
Is this like
listening.
our size stone or like the well size stone?
Well-sized stone. So from where you are now, it's small, but it's about 60 feet out. And so, well, not small, but like it from where it is now, like it's in the distance, but you can tell it's an ancient structure. This is a ruin from the ancient times. So It is a human farmhouse in the distance. And leading up to that farmhouse, there's just a bunch of tall grasses that are swaying back and forth. You can see some remnants of hay, just some corn in the distance that's just grown wild from being unattended to. And it looks like you've kind of emerged into an abandoned ancient farm. So the world is yours.
As we come up out of the well via elevator, Scree's looking around. The second Scree spots the farmhouse and kind of like realizes where they are, Scree's just gonna like not looking, but just like put a hand back to like be like, Kerr, can we go there? Can we go there? Hey.
Well, you don't see that every day. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Stripey, what do you think?
Oh, well, do you think there might be snacks?
Well, I mean, there's always a snack if you're brave enough just to crunch down.
Yeah, there might, for sure. There might be. We should go look. You'll never know. We should Can we-
You ever
Level
seen
up,
anything?
Come on.
Tiny, you ever seen anything like this before?
Yeah, no, a whole bunch. I'm a kind of what you call an expert in in like ruins like these.
You're a
Okay,
historian.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were so smart.
No, you don't have to be smart to be a historian. You just have to have a good memory.
It's usually also a legacy thing. Small net. So what can you tell me about Kerp just like the picks a random direction and like points at like one of the windows? That.
Well, you see, sometimes is the window intact?
Make a perception check. It's still a little bit far out, so
Fair. Where'd I put my d20?
What do your scree eyes see?
you can also make a history check if you want to try to weave in
that'd be a
a
good
little bit of
idea.
truth here.
That was 12 perception,
Oh, nice.
and history is 11.
Oh, that's nice. Good even.
Honestly, not too bad. From what you can tell, it looks like there is still some glass in the window, but it's shattered, almost like someone has thrown like a brick through it. But mostly intact.
Okay, cool. With my 11 history, is there anything that would infer? Because I'm gonna start making stuff up.
You would know that the ancient humans used this land to cultivate food and kind of supply resources to the surrounding land, but you don't know what it's called. You don't know that it's called a farmhouse. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you know.
All right, cool. Okay, so what I from my years researching this, what, what you're pointing at there, they have holes in their building, so that way, when they finish growing the food, they could just throw it right into the building.
Oh, it saves time. It saves time quickly.
Very effective.
Yeah, no, so, and in case like the door was, I don't know, in case the large exit wasn't working, they could just crawl through the hole in the wall with the food. And they have it slightly raised off the ground, so that way short enemies can't just climb through.
Well, that's a fairly defensive strategy.
We
Yeah.
got Kerr with us, so I'm sure Kerr can lift you up and do it.
I mean, I could try their old tactics of just throwing you through if you'd like.
I mean, that's okay.
The authentic historian experience.
Do you think there's monsters there, Scree?
No.
Could I make a perception check now that Lav has mentioned this, actually?
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
Scree's widely biased. There might be monsters. They just want to go explore
Oh,
it.
wasn't too bad. I think that was just a 15 total.
Scrooge just is going to say yes to whatever makes people go to the farmhouse.
Very much. I think we're headed that way now, though. Like just as Scree was talking and as we were looking.
Yeah.
That was a 15 total for my perception.
Kind of like
Walking and talking.
Walking, talking, scurrying, squeaks. From
shuffling
plant to
through the
plant.
grass.
Yeah.
Snoofing.
Snooping.
Okay, so as you leap down from the tall well and start kind of weaving your way through these tall grasses, Chester and Grundle drop down behind you. And actually, I'm going to need all of you to make acrobatics checks, leaping down from the well.
It's fair.
'Cause it's pretty big compared to you all. Like the tallest one of you is 3 feet tall, I think.
Kerr is 4 acorns tall.
Curse 4 acorns. So, tallest amongst us.
Right, okay.
I can help out if I need to.
Right. Okay. So there.
Screw would probably jump down after Kerr and be like, catch me.
And then just to double check, you said acrobatics?
Mhm.
Yeah, acrobatics.
Right, that was not great, but I have some decency in acrobatics. That's a flat 10.
I got 12.
Excellent.
14 for me.
Okay. So you all kind of leap down, drop down the distance, and Screw, you kind of like leap and stumble a little bit, catching yourself, but you're fine. Lavender, you just leap and gracefully land. You're used to making kind of larger drops with your history and being in the city. And you're all about to, you kind of look behind because all of a sudden you just hear as the three larger folks of this party, Grundle, Kerr, and Chester just all fall flat on their asses when they go. Like Chester curls into a ball at the last second, just kind of save himself from any damage because he rolled a 3.
Oh no, I know.
But
I like to imagine that we all picked the same spot that we were aiming for to land, and so it just like we're all like flip flopped into each other, and then there's like Chester just sticking to Grundle like, and Kerr.
Mm-hmm. It's Kerr and Grundle, and then Chester just. You guys are hardy enough not to feel anything, though. So to the ground, that ruckus, Kerr, as you kind of like wrench yourself out of this bundle, and you guys start weaving your way through the grasses, scurrying as you go. You kind of peer up to the sky, keeping an eye out for anything of note, and you hear the Pokemon battle music start. As you peer up, and you just slightly catch something circling in the sky and then entering into the top open doorway of the farmhouse. So it has like the big barn door at the bottom, and then that little kind of hayloft door. You see a shadow kind of fly around in an arc and swoop inside there.
Screw's not going to say anything.
Right up. No. Excellent.
Would Lav have seen anything?
I'm gonna say, even though your passive perception is high, passive perception more is like just what's around you, and that was too far out for your passive to catch. So if Lav was also keeping an eye out, you can roll a perception check and see if you saw it too. Okay, so you progress onwards, weaving through the grass, making your way towards the farmhouse. And as you progress, you see even more ruins and rubble. A large, rusted, curving piece of metal that just curves out of the ground and back in, that seems to have a sharp kind of edge to it that kind of repeats in rows as it goes down, that towers above you guys. A large barrel that is cracked to the side, which you recognize as a barrel because you have barrels in your size, but this one is massive and could house like an entire family inside of it as you continue on. And the food here is, you're used to berry farmers and like hummingbird caretakers and people who have started to cultivate these large crops, but there are just large crops everywhere. Massive corn kernels the size of Scree's head just scattered across the ground. There is an old withered tomato plant that you see at the very top. There's one last tomato that's the size of the boat you sailed down the river in, just hanging above, looming there, kind of swaying as the wind blows. And for a lot of you, this is the first time that you've been surrounded by so many ancient relics, and you realize how big the world used to be before the fur folk and fern feather folk reclaimed the world from the disaster that struck. And you're getting closer to the farmhouse. When you start where Lav, with your passive perception, is when this would kick in. You hear some scurryings in the tall grasses around you.
Lav's ears will perk up, and she'll like scritch down extra into the grass and kind of go into like hiding mode.
I like the idea of like while we're walking past all these things, Scree's rattling off like completely not true fun facts. It's like, oh yeah, so they actually grow so much food. That's why that's one of the reasons why they went extinct is because they worked too much. And then you see these big kernels here. They used to put them on like put holes in them in big string. They would make jewelry out of these.
You're pulling my tail.
No, it's true. They were that big. So Scree's not paying attention to the scurryings.
Curse having way too much fun listening to Scree. Also not paying attention.
Chester is kind of laughing and making side comments with Scree. Goes like, "Oh, that's a good one done there, Scree. I didn't know that one." And you can see Grundle's kind of like hanging back, kind of with his arms crossed, and just kind of grumbling to himself. Not openly voicing his opinions, but Lav, as you kind of like tuck back, you kind of hear him grumble, go, "Oh, what are they teaching in the schools these days?" As Grundle be grumbling. And you see he catches you lurking back and slowly reaches for that large claymore they had on his back, which as he does, and Scree, as you're mid kind of ramble off of whatever ancient times thing you've had that's currently caught your eye, two figures about the size of Scree, a little bit taller, with gray fur, long pointed noses that kind of end in a little button nose at the top, with small caps and kind of raggedy clothes, and holding size, pop out and go, "Where are you going? This is through land. You can't be trespassing here."
Well, hello to you as well. You
and then the other one, who is kind of dressed the same, raggedy, yes, the kind of raggedy attire with the kind of like leather thong cat, goes, "We do live here, and this is our land. You can't just come walking through. Anyone who comes in without the crew's intermission," ooh, intermission, that's not the right word, "without the crew's permission, can be thrown out." Then you start hear from the surrounding area, you hear, "Seconded." That's right. Just like little
a whole cacophony.
Voices coming from the sides of the things around it. A cacophony from around in the grasses.
Oh my god.
True Bob said it was okay.
Yeah.
Make a perception check.
Can Ruby roll with advantage because I'm helping with my
Yeah. I don't think I have any other inspirations I can.
I'm gonna say that, seeing as I was half tempted to make her roll with disadvantage, no. Or yes, and she just rolls with that with a straight roll.
This is way better. This is going great. Oh
I can respect that.
Yes, that seems. That
I
seems
love
respectful.
that all of this is so far from the plan of when we are in.
Yep.
At least that
It's
you
good.
up here.
Yep.
The
We're exploring. We're exploring. We have to explore the ruins. We have to. They're there.
That's a 12.
Excellent. Excellent. Amazing. Fantastic.
You just hear from one of the side areas goes, I did not. And one of the shrimp is like, your claim has been vetoed. Do you lie to the Gaussum? And you kind of
Well, how are we
and
supposed
goes,
to get
"Well,
Shrew's
you can't-"
permission?
The one next to that one, the kind of
Go ahead. I'll listen to you,
by
James. Go ahead.
filing a request in triplicate.
By filing a what?
Before you enter the land, you find Shrew and you file through a request in triplicate. Isn't that right, Gaussum? You hear, second and carried, come from just around.
Kerr, what did they say? I know that they're saying words. I just can't catch that second word.
It's
Girl,
there seems to be a government of shrews around here, and apparently they have a very strict legal process. We apologize for interrupting your morning. What time is it? What time is it? Like, I kind of forgot.
Oh yeah, I don't think we ever established that.
It's currently
'Cause it was night when we went down into all the tunnels, all the things. We had a long rest, and now we're back up. So
and then you rested. I'm gonna say it's morning, so it's like late morning now.
okay, late morning. Yeah. We didn't mean to interrupt your morning, true friends, and apologies for any deceptions. It's been a rough time. Did you know about the bad business that was going on near the well?
They kind of murmur to each other and kind of talk and be like, we did. They filed paperwork, and so they had safe travel through Shrew land.
Uh,
They enter well, and they have not emerged since. Seconded, says the one next to it.
Gosh, I love them.
so much. Oh God. So they,
you know what? That
you
makes sense.
I guess
Yeah,
if they wanted to
good
keep a low
business.
profile,
So,
not a bad way for them to go. Be quiet, following some laws, I guess.
are you telling me that it matters not one's intentions in your land as long as they file the paperwork? For these fiends had very nefarious intentions, and yet you still let them through. You don't seem very
Bothered.
worried about people's
Well,
intentions. Rather just paperwork, which honestly, all right then.
damn. Quick question. We're in the what section of the map are we in? I'm trying to think politically right now, real fast. Because we're on our way to
We're currently
Umloa, right? Is where we're going towards.
Yeah, you're still in the Elmloa, maybe. You guys haven't quite specified where you're going after this. But you're still currently in the realm of the Yule Court. So where the big owl is, in the Silvermore Forest. So right now you're probably the big city on the map next to the city right here on the map. You're a little south of that and to the east. So you're kind of around here.
Okay. All right. Thank you, boss. Cool. Kerr kind of leans down towards Lav and is like, I fear they have a very laissez-faire attitude, if you will. Pardon my bad pronunciation.
I'm just saying it's hard to respect someone who only cares about the letter of the law. Kind of side-eyeing the shrews, like,
I mean, hey, rules are rules. Where can we get this paperwork?
Through First, we have to vote if you will be allowed to file the paperwork. Is that right, Shrews? Seconded, carried. All right,
No.
the one next to steps forward, kind of like plants both her feet in the ground and hikes up the leather belt around her waist. These, so the 5 of you wish to traverse the land. What is your purpose?
Probably to leave, but also Kerr, tell them our purpose.
We are with a larger group.
And at this point, you've seen.
Go ahead.
At this point, you've seen that the rest of the shrews have kind of emerged, and they all kind of have that. Some of them have like big headbands on, but they all have that kind of like rustic torn tunic with just the one belt around their waist. But their hats are where they vary, and you kind of tell that there's a kind of pattern to the hats. The two in front with the leather thong hats seem to be talking the most, and then there's some that just have bandanas that aren't really talking much, and then there's one that has like this wide brimmed kind of not cowboy hat but more like fisherman's hat that's just kind of standing silently slightly closer to the two in the front, but they've all kind of emerged, and there's about 5 of them at this point.
Okay. Does it sound like there's any more in like the surrounding areas, or does it kind of sound like that was everybody that was talking?
Make a perception check.
Let's use a moss dice. Ooh, that was good. 15 total.
15. Kind of like as you start slowly letting your sentence out, you pause and kind of just tilt your ears back and forth, and you can't hear any more rustling in the brush around the grass around you.
Again, pardon for us coming upon you so unexpectedly. That we're with a larger group that seeks passage. There would be a number of us, but we don't want to bother you. If we could have paperwork to pass through as quickly as we can, we'd be very appreciative.
And perhaps later paperwork to explore the cool ruins here.
Yes, my young tiny friend here is a historian, and they are very interested in ruins such as these.
If not, that's
The ruins, and you see the 3 that emerged out of the bushes dash back in quickly as you bring up the ruins. And the other 2 kind of like skirt back to the grasses and then just peek their heads out and go, "You must be mad to want to transfer into the ruins."
A little
It's
bit.
like, "Oh yes, crazy." That is you. Do you not know there's dangerous predator in there? Second and carried. It is.
Would the predator mind if I explored the ruins? Do I have to fill out paperwork for him too?
What kind of predator is it?
The male shrew with the leather thong cap comes out. Goes, "This very large winged owl. Doesn't seem to talk. Seems to be one of the ancient kinds. Large, very splinter. Lost many shrew to him. It's very scary. As they said, you must be mad to wish to be transferred there."
Well, maybe someday when he's like God.
He has been here for many a year. No. Neither wild owl nor owl folk of the Yule Court. Seconded. passed. Motion passed.
Did the owl have to file paperwork?
I'd imagine the owl threatened to eat them.
That makes a little sense, I guess.
The last shrew we tried to send to get paperwork from owl never returned.
I mean, I guess we'll just file for paperwork to just pass through. That's fine too.
I think we can
Very
do a
well.
little bit of exploring.
Gotham? And as he calls them all out, they all emerge again. And they go, I propose a motion to let this crew pace.
While they're
Mhm.
doing that, could I? Are there any one of those that look like they're maybe not on board with us, or are they all looking like they're very agreeable to each other? That they're. It seems like they all like to talk, but they all seem to have the same mind. Is what Kerr is feeling. Are there any that like feel otherwise, or maybe want to say no?
Make an insight check.
Oh, please. All right, please be good. Please be good.
And you see they start kind of, it starts as like really productive comments, but then it kind of derives or devolves into just like really tedious bantering. It's like, but what if they crush the grapes? And just like really small itty bitty nuisances where you start to get the idea that they really like the tedium of debate.
Oh God.
Oh
God.
And a good like 1-2 minutes goes by of them just chattering with each other. But if they do not leave, then who will distract the owl? And Kerr, as they're having this discussion, what did you roll?
That was a natural one with my negative one
What'd you say?
modifier. Natural one. So with my negative one modifier, that was a beautiful 0. Which actually makes perfect sense for Kerr. Because he's an idiot.
The tedium and monotony. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because with the tedium and monotony, like you're interested in the beginning, you like really want to figure out if anyone's like kind of a defector. And as they just start dribbling into monotonous bureaucracy, like it just reminds you way too much of situations you've been in. And your brain just kind of zones them out. And about 5 minutes go by of them debating. You're like, but if they leave, then we can have our well back. And it's like, and it gets to the point where the one with the fisherman hat kind of steps forward and be like, that is enough debating, shrews. We must decide whether to pass or not pass the motion. So let us vote. And he kind of like knocks this staff on the ground. He's like, I vote yay, so they can just get out of our hair. Yes? And you see the few that have been like really arguing against giving you paperwork, partially for the fact just to continue arguing, as he kind of states his opinion, they kind of lock onto him and go, seconded. Third. And then the Thon Cap steps forward. Ah, good. Motion carried. Present the paperwork. And the one with the fisherman hat takes off his fisherman hat and pulls out a scroll from it.
I know.
And unfurls it. It's like, if you would like to sign here, please. Folds it over. And here. Folds it over. And here.
I love these guys so much.
Perfect. He rolls it up and sticks it in the little leather strap on his waist. He goes, you now have permit to transport through land.
So, which the shrews don't know Lav at all. But in signing this, Lav is not using her signature.
No,
she's
of course
just
not.
like
like scribbling.
it's just like a It's not actually her signature. Very
Yeah.
specifically. She's
So
not
very.
legitimately signing these papers.
No, of course not. There's no contract here.
Yeah.
We don't follow the law.
Nope.
We can kind of follow the law.
I mean, but if we follow the law, we won't go to cool building with ruins if we follow all of the rules that they're
That's a good
setting forth
point.
here. So we're only following some of the rules here.
That's a good point.
Okay,
Alright.
Just like
better.
I suppose our first priority should be to get our little now freed captives to safety. So we should go back to the elevator and go grab them and get them to the town.
Oh, we should definitely do that. And then Curly sounds discreet. And once we've got them on their way, maybe explore a bit more.
Yeah, I
Winks.
mean, like, there's a lot of the and with Jimmy and the other one, they'd be pretty safe.
Definitely.
Tucks a little bit further behind the ear. Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
As you two are kind of murmuring to yourselves, you catch that one of the shrews is kind of like hanging back a little bit and kind of casts you a side eye before like catching up with the shrews that have once the fisherman hat shrew tucks it in his waist, they kind of scurry back into the tall grasses again, and you can hear them scurry out, seemingly leaving you alone now.
So do you think it's a family thing, or do you think
So you
they're a
wish
cult?
to go back into the elevator?
Yeah, we should go back to the elevator.
And then Kerr's just commenting on the shrews. Do you think it's a family thing, or do you think that they're like a cult, or was it like a job thing?
probably both.
Yeah,
It's probably a family cult, you know.
You know, that's how
I
they
like their
usually start.
hats.
You want one?
A cool hat.
I want a big hat someday.
Are there any like of the corn kernels that I could like stash away?
Oh yeah, there's plenty. They're scattered across the ground. There's like a whole cob that kind of has dropped halfway onto the path, kind of like a fallen log, and some of the kernels have been taken and popped out. Some of them you can see they've been nibbled on by various creatures, but there's still plenty for you to just like and put into a satchel. They're large though. They're like
Excellent.
probably like this.
Lab will pick one up and try to like get it in the satchel, and it's fairly full. And then she'll take another one and like put it under her hand and like, all right. So her satchel's like bulging with one of the kernels, and then she's got another one under her arm.
All right. We'll keep it wary.
Right. So as you all head back to the
I just wanted to make sure we also were
as you methodically make your way back to the elevator, we are going to turn our eyes back underground and see what Duke has been up to this entire time.
Just like
painting their nails.
Painting.
Painting their nails, I would imagine. Just like yes.
It's a good question. What has Duke been doing? Duke has probably been mostly entertaining to kids, partially because he knows that these are the kids that they're supposed to get back to their dad, but partially because kids are the only fun people in the world. And one of them had seen him earlier and had like mouthed alpine shadow in a bit of awe, and so of course he's going to show off a little bit to these little kids. So he's playing with these kids 1,000%.
Awesome. So as you're kind of putting on like a mini show for these kids, at one point after it's been like a good hour after the crew has left, you hear in your mind, "Fellow hunter, come see me."
I missed.
You recognize it as Ostera.
I missed the first half of what you said.
Oh, sorry. Fellow hunter, come see me.
Duke would hear that and be like mid throwing a kid in the air or something, like trying to teach that, like, no, in like, you know, the way that like your aunts or uncles would like throw you in the air as a kid just because they could, whatever. And just kind of puts the kid down, boops him on the nose, and just to the two is like, all right. So you know those back tucks that I was teaching you how to try to do? Practice those for a little bit. And then we'll turn around and walk towards where Estrella had disappeared.
Okay. So you make your way back up the cliffside and into the tunnel system where Ostera lives. And you enter back in and you see her curled back up in her tight coil, but it's a little looser this time, as you know that now inside the middle of this coil are her 3 eggs just kind of sequestered there. And as you enter, she raises her head, her large golden eyes kind of focusing in on you, and her head starts kind of going in like the same meditative kind of wavy pattern. It goes, ah, good. I believe there is some payment I can give you, hunter to hunter. You see she shifts and starts scraping the side of her body across the kind of rough cave wall. And as she does, this section of skin that was a little bit lighter than all the rest starts peeling off and falls to the ground. And she kind of slowly moves her head over and picks it up, comes back and drops it. Goes, my hide is thick, my scales silent. Maybe you can find use of these. And she gives you essentially a bolt, probably about a 3-yard by 4-yard bolt of snakeskin, snake shed from her. That still has that. It's like a normal snake shed where it's still kind of that translucent, but it's heavier and thicker and kind of still has that rich emerald green has kind of diluted to more of a kind of turquoisey blue with the dilution of the shed. And she kind of just drops it in front of you. She's like, I am not skilled in crafts. No hands. But maybe you or some friends can make use of this.
Duke looks nauseated, just disgusted by what he just watched. And
is that the equivalent of watching someone kind of like half undressed in front of you, but they're not doing it in a sexy way, and it's just like, I didn't want to see that, Grandpa. I really didn't need to. Except for
Duke is just like,
nice.
Maybe like you're like half undressed or someone like peeling off like a really large spot of peely sunburn. It's the equivalent.
yeah, where it's just, it could be cool, but it just goes far enough that you're like, no thanks. Duke will just kind of like look at it for a second. Thanks. And will like use his daggers to pick it up so he doesn't have to touch it and try to put it in a bag so that he doesn't have to touch it.
It's like if someone like brought you like homemade muffins, but they
Which,
just smell
as you pick it up with your dagger,
She's like, you gotta be polite, you know?
You know,
One of the muffins is still sizzling, and you're like, that shouldn't be happening anymore.
that's
No.
not normal.
But thank you so much.
so as you pick it up with your
the
dagger
energy.
and like try to shove it in one of your satchels, you kind of get a feel for it. And as you poke it in, you're a little bit scared of puncturing it with your dagger, but it's hardy and thick and actually seems kind of it would be a lot cooler. And you feel that there is some sort of resistance to it's resisting the piercing effect of your dagger as you put it into your satchel. It's also very light, extremely light. As you put in your satchel, and does Ostera sense that? Yeah. Ostera kind of like, you hear, if a snake could chuckle, the closest thing, which and kind of ends up just being like these weird kind of like clicks, kind of like, and then she sticks out her tongue and flicks it. Goes, you'll get used to it, I'm sure. Now leave
sure
me.
we can.
She kind of curls back up and just. And if any of your crew or slaves. As you walk down, you just hear echoing after you as she emits with her voice. If any of you return, I can't control what my children see as morsels. As you
Noted.
leave and return back, so as you leave and return back to the cave entrance, the kids are practicing the tucks and tumbles. Some of the remaining kind of hardier folk that aren't part of the guild or anything, but just people that you can see are more tested with it when it comes to traveling and adventuring, have started to gather supplies and things of the like to prepare for the excursion out of the tunnel. And you can see that most people are pretty itching to get out of here at this point. And a lot of people are looking up and eyeing the elevator, just waiting for it to come back down. And at the very base of the elevator, just kind of sitting cross-legged, you can see now he's found a wide brim pointed hat that's just sitting, that is kind of, it looks wet and sodden and has some moss kind of hanging off the top and some lichen clinging to the very tip of his hat. You see Puddle just sitting there now with a long crooked staff, just tracing little geometric shapes at the bottom of the elevator pad. And that every so often from the geometric shapes, you just see little spurts of magic and little puffs of smoke. And he kind of like has a little notebook next to him that he's writing things down after each of the little puffs. And people just seem to be kind of keeping themselves busy.
Duke is kind of glad that the rest of the party isn't here because he would look so obviously uncomfortable and maybe a little nervous because he knows how some of these people view him, which is something that he's dealt with his whole life, a prejudice that he didn't deserve. And he always tries to use his actions to counter that. But some people don't care what you do because some people think how you look determines so many things. And so he's letting himself in this moment actually express and feel some of those emotions because the party isn't around, so he doesn't have this vibrato he has to keep up as much anymore because these are just strangers and they don't care about him. But the group is different. So since they're gone, there's this uncomfortableness with being stuck with these people who have a preconceived notion of who he is. Which is kind of why he's stuck with the kids, because adults are scary.
As you're kind of walking around the area here, letting yourself kind of unmask for a moment around these people who you don't really care about their opinions, and you can just kind of let some of your vulnerability show. You notice that puddle at the bottom of the elevator has kind of stopped focusing on his magic and is kind of like just like watching you as you pace around and kind of like tilting his head, and then writes little notes and tilts his head again, writes more notes before closing his journal and kind of like having himself stand up, which he's not much taller standing than sitting. And he grabs his staff and you can see him start making his way towards you.
Duke just has like his feet dangling off the edge of somewhere and just kind of eyes as they're getting closer, just kind of curiously.
So as he gets close, he kind of sits down next to you and he dangles his webbed feet too, which his feet, pretty much his full webbed feet length are about the size of his legs. So it's a kind of weird proportion. And even then, when he's dangling them, they don't even go halfway as long as yours. He's a short boy. And he kind of looks at you and quietly just kind of sits and twiddles his feet and looks around and opens up his journal, which as he flips through, with your past perception, it's high enough. He's not like hiding it. You can see that there's just pages and pages of really intricate geometric patterns with little scribbles that look like really elegant cursive next to them. And then he gets to a page where there's some drawings. Some drawings you recognize. There's a drawing of Chester early on, drawing of Lav, with some, like, on the drawing of Lav, there's also a few other faces, most of which you don't recognize. There's a possum face, a black cat face who you didn't see, as well as
nobody got stabbed by.
And they all have little... You did get stabbed by, right? Yeah. But you didn't see him because you backstabbed you. And next to each of these, like, small little portraits that are highly detailed, there's just little paragraphs in cursive next to them. And then he flips, and on the last page, that before just empty pages, there's a not as quite detailed picture of you, and some general words, some like one or two sentences, and then just a bunch of question marks. when she kind of pauses at that page and then kind of just looks up at you and slowly tilts the book in your direction. And you can see written there goes, you see the words, unsure of this one. And then you see the sentence kind of stops halfway and then goes, kind of switches mid-sentence and goes, I think I was wrong. And then just the question marks continue. And he kind of looks up at you and goes, sorry for my question before. Us frog folk, we don't get the best. Okay. Kind of like, as you say, it's all right. And he just goes, okay, kind of like shuts down a little bit. And you see he writes a little bit more. And he like kind of tries to hide it, but like he's got big old hands. And you just see he writes the word kind. He goes,
You know, a lot of people have prejudices about me in particular. Most of my family are normal colored ferrets, all kinds of colors. My twin, he's entirely black. His name is also Duke, but my mum, she always calls us Al and Jet, our middle names. But he's who we're looking for. And Duke has been fiddling with the medallion, which I finished painting. Because I wanted to. I had nothing to do while y'all were playing, so I painted it. And it's just fiddling with it. He's taken like you guys were. I was hoping maybe he'd be here, but he's not.
You see, as you start fiddling with the medallion, he flips back a couple pages in his journal and stops, and you see a drawing of only one side of the medallion, the side with the crown and the briar around it. Goes, Cobble had that medallion too. And you see next to it, there's a bunch of scribbles and a bunch of question marks. It was, my friend was often judged for being nefarious and tricksy. But sadly with her, it seems to have kind of turned true. I don't know if that's just because she was treated like that for so long, or if that's just how she always was, but
a lot of
it's
times
hard.
people end up becoming what people say they are. Whether it's true or not, people eventually start believing what other people call them. But I won't. Is it not who I am?
If you're treated like an animal for so long, you become one, right? You seem like a nice fellow.
Thank you.
He kind of like flips back, and he starts sketching. It looks like he's duplicating the image of you, but he's using much harder lines and kind of making everything darker. He goes, I'll keep an eye out for your brother. He kind of like holds it up and like kind of like points. It's like identical besides the color.
We're kind of the opposites of each other. I have
Lavish.
the little black dots for eyebrows. He's got white ones.
He pulls out just this little tiny, like gummy gray eraser and just puts these two little dots above the eyes of your brothers, and then goes, can you do me a favor?
Depends on the favor.
Maybe. You see he gets like real small and uncomfortable. Goes, Lav has always been kind of a mum to us Nittingham children since the mistress disappeared. Could you make sure she doesn't lose her head looking for Aspen? She's always kind of, we're all her favorite, but they're a bit special. And you see his eyes get real wide for a second. He goes, and he kind of like fidgets in his fit. He kind of instantly catches that he realizes that he said something that he didn't, that he thought you knew already. It's like, kind of like fidgets with himself. Make a persuasion check for me.
Persuasion. Okay. Give me my dice. I need to stop using this dice. This is the Petrichor set. I need to stop using them for anything else. That's a natural 1 for a 5.
Only use Moss dice. 5? Okay. And kind of like fidgets, and she's like, if she hasn't told you yet, maybe I
know she's looking for someone. I mentioned I was looking for my brother, and she mentioned she was also looking for someone. God, quite upset about it, actually. I haven't given a name, though.
Kind of like looks at you and then looks around. Roll one more persuasion check for me. This one will be harder.
Using this dice this time. We're using this dice this time. Hey, that's better. That's more like it. I'm gonna give. Do I have that spell? I don't. Curse being a bard.
It's okay, you'll get it
19.
eventually. Bards get everything eventually. 19? Okay. As you say that, he kind of like scoots back and forth and shifts his hat. He flips back to that page in his journal that had the picture of Lav, and underneath the picture of Lav, and now as he kind of like tilts it to you and he's not just flipping through, you see that between the portrait of Lav and the portrait of this figure beneath her, is what looks to be kind of like filigreed moss that kind of ends in a little heart, kind of connecting the two images. And he goes, this is Aspen. And you see there a drawing of a raccoon who has similar markings to Lav, but instead of the kind of full mask of black, it kind of just curls around over one eye, and on the other eye it seems to have grayed out. And he has a black fisherman's cap on, so one of those like puffy ones with the little bill, and you can see just kind of suspenders coming over his shoulders with a higher collar shirt. kind of has this cheeky smile, and kind of tucked in the front of his shirt, you just see the very tops of what looks to be small little wire glasses.
Oh my god.
Goes, Aspen's Lav is the one who gets things done and takes care of us. But Aspen's the one that can make sure we're all kitted out and make sure we're all comfortable. He's often the distraction.
So am I.
I know she's he's a bit more clumsy than you seem to be, though. Always fumbling over his own feet, getting himself into trouble. They kind of have a... We first thought it was just because they were the only masked folk in the home, but we quickly realized it was a bit more, even though they tried to hide it at first. When the home kind of burned down, they kind of became our pseudo parents in the end. Found the hole off on the island, hunkered us all down, made sure none of us got too into trouble, bailed us out if we did. So Lavender has always had a soft spot for Aspen, and loses her head a bit when it comes to him, can become hyper-focused. And this, and kind of like looks around at the entire chamber and gestures. Seems like a bad place to lose one's head. Sometimes the caretaker needs a caretaker, you know.
As I've been talking, Duke has had this interesting facial journey happen, as there's a bit of this energy at first where it's like, oh, you know something, give me the tea. I want to know all the things. And then as he finally starts talking, it's this thing of Duke like being like genuinely intrigued and curious. So that kind of like smug, like someone's got a crush kind of a vibe. But like that kind of this is true romance type of a thing. And then as he starts talking about she tends to lose her head when it comes to him, Duke is reminded of what Chester told him to tell Lab that they didn't. And is like, oh, boy, there is bad news here.
And he kind of, as he kind of finishes telling you the kind of quick recap story, he kind of like gets really anxious again and goes, I don't want to say too much, you know. All of us Knittinghams don't really like talking about the old days too much, but I'm not quite sure how the rest would handle if they learned that. And you see he kind of like, he bites his lip a little bit and his feet start twiddling really uncomfortably. And he shakes a little bit before taking a big breath and goes, if we had to lose another mum, you know.
I think you'd like my mom. She'd love you. Best friends with folk quite like you. My kind tend to travel a lot, never really stick in one place. I never really had a permanent home. Wasn't really a thing.
Why you sound like Cord?
It's kind of why I like the circus. We're always moving about, never in one spot. But my mom's best friends with folk quite like you. Listen.
Kind of like shuffles and goes, "Brr. Maybe don't tell her I told you all this. Maybe
Just between
I'm
us.
learning I'm kind of a blabbermouth. All right. Kind of flips through his journal again and goes back to that page where he has a picture of you and now your brother. And he starts kind of sketching out the rest of your crew as well. And just kind of like sits next to you, doesn't really talk anymore, but it's just kind of like enjoying being in your space a little bit as he just like starts losing himself in his drawings. He's adding a bit, he kind of like bounces between all the different drawings, like adds a bit more detail to yours, writes a bit more next to you, starts adding a bit more detail to like Scurry and Kerr's drawings.
As he's doing all of that, Duke will take out his pencil and over where his brother is, will just, in this actually kind of impressive calligraphy handwriting, will scrawl his brother's full name. So Duke Jet Moore.
Because he like pauses for a second and looks up, and then kind of like next to your picture, he draws like a long line, and then just kind of like hands you his journal. Is like, I don't often get to have some self annotation in my journals, so if you want to write anything about yourself so I remember later. I don't have the best memory, that's why I write everything down. I don't want to forget.
Duke will take it, kind of smiling, and gets small little like memory snippets of like after a performance where little kids are coming up with these like posters and little pictures of people from the circus and are asking for signatures type of a vibe, and just kind of smiles, will take the book and will write his full name, Duke Alabaster Moore, and then under it in quotation marks will write the Alpine Shadow, and underneath his brother's, oh god, what did I say his was? He's an entirely different thing. I gotta find it. Hold on. I'll get this. You guys will get the lore. It took me so long to come up with one for Duke's brother because I got Duke's real fast. But getting Duke's was a little more difficult. Here we go.
Do you want me to tell you it, or did you find it?
Hold on. I'm here. Maybe. Hold on. Where the fuck is it? There we go. Found it. Under in quotation marks, he writes Jet Light. And then, kind of between the two of them, kind of sideways scrawled so it spreads across the two pictures, just on the side of it, writes Florette's Circus of Traveling Talent, the famous aerialists. And then we'll hand it back.
So he takes it back, goes, his eyes kind of widen, goes, I didn't know I was talking to a famous person. That's
Well,
pretty fun.
more infamous than famous, really. If you ask anybody in power or governments, they don't tend to like us circus folk. Hard to pin down, hard to pay taxes. We pay them, but they hate us for it.
Infamous is fun too. You'll learn that pretty quick, hanging around Lavender. She's not opposed to a bit of infamy now and then.
It's more fun
Then
than
he kind of just like
famous.
shuffles back in, kind of like scoots a little close, kind of like shuffles back in and continues drawing and sketching out. And do you wish to do anything else? Here.
Duke will actually pull out his little booklet and it flips to a couple of pages because he's drawn his brother in his journal, which is just my art for drawing Duke that everybody else here has seen, but the audience has not. And he just spends time sketching.
All right. So as the two of you settle into this dark cave and kind of lose yourself in your drawings every so often, kind of like making comments to each other, just kind of holding space and enjoying existing in someone else's presence. We're going to take a break and we'll come back with the group reconvening. So we'll see you all in a little bit.
10 minutes.
10-minute break.
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, everyone is back except for the Alpine Shadow.
Alpine Shadow.
Alpine Shadow.
One of these days, we're gonna sit down and like a whole like '90s intro. That it's gonna be great. It's gonna be very excellent.
Our Alpine Shadow's currently talking to
That'll be
families like, coming back from break. Good soup, though.
Ah, that makes sense.
Good soup.
Let's go back to. Welcome back, chat. Thanks for being here. Hope you're having fun. Hope you're enjoying the lore.
We love you, chat.
We love natural lore drops.
We do. Very natural and seamless. Oh no, we've lost connection with our Alpine Shadow. Alpine Shadow. Where are you?
So you wake up in an abandoned farmhouse.
That's the Shrew's music. We shouldn't use that one.
I love the shrews, by the way.
I love the shrew so much.
They're adorable.
I want to have literally 100 adventures with all of them, just so that I can see Kerr go perpetually mad, just with all this.
The freaking like a second carried.
So I need to be honest with that one. That's an Easter egg, and if anyone, including anyone in the chat, gets what I'm referencing, you'll get inspiration. You'll get an inspiration point.
It's not.
Okay,
Ruby, you can.
It's not. Is it Redwall? Because I swear that there was like a cacophony of shrews that they met one time that were like trying to be all big and scary, but I can't remember. So I don't get inspiration if I don't remember. That's the thing.
I mean, unless you lock that in as your guess. If you lock that in as your guess,
no, maybe
do it, coward.
Do it. Fine. It's my best guess. Like I can't think of anything else. But I swear to God, in like Martin the Warrior, there was something where they met shrews, and then they had to like help them out because they were trying to be all big and scary. But I can't quite remember because it was like literally more than a decade ago that I read this book series and or watched the animated show. But that's my guess, is it's a Redwall reference.
Okay. Yes, it is. It's a Redwall reference.
It is. Excellent.
Lim, you get inspiration.
It was
tack that on.
Martin the Warrior, right? It was tacky. I get inspiration.
No, it was just in Redwall. It was just in the standard Redwall book. Matthias meets Cacophony of Shrews. That on his way to find Asmodeus the snake to get back Martin's sword. And I loved them. And this morning, when I thought I was going to have to make the above ground stuff last a little longer, I was like, but anyway, welcome back, everyone. We are back. Everyone's back and ready, and we are going to dive back in to the world of Brass and Briar as our exploration group heading from those are loud birds. As our exploration group from above returns down the elevator, the rattle and clanging of the elevator echoing through the caves below, announcing the return to everyone who stayed beneath. Duke, you hear this, and Puddle kind of looks up and back towards where he was, and Hurley skirts back over to the geometric patterns he was drawing around the bottom and just finishes one of the lines, and you see they blow a little bit. And as the group returns and the elevator lands, there's just tiny little tiny fireworks that go off from the geometric shapes. And he just goes, "Our heroes have returned." And a little cheers from all of the remaining folk and freedom, recently freed folk, erupt from around as you all emerge from the elevator and back into the cavern. Chester kind of steps forward and goes, "All right, so up top is rather clear. There's a big old owl beastie, so we're going to have to be careful of them. But if everyone's ready to go, let's start filing up, and we'll go in groups of 9 up that elevator, all right? And he kind of like, him and Grundle kind of divvy up and start gathering groups and organizing everyone as the rest of you reconvene with Duke.
How you feeling, Fluffy? And like Kerr will like scrunch up their hair when they see them again.
Oh, that's me.
Mhm.
Jesus
You
Christ.
fluffy.
Are you saying you're not Fluffy? I'm also expecting that after having rested and recuperated and washed their fur, they're like you know the first like hour after you wash, you're just like a little foofy, especially.
This is fair.
Finally got all the blood off.
Even after, as the elevator had been coming down, Duke is just still sketching. And so as you come over, there's a half a moment where there's a quick flip close of the journal as Duke just like, you know my name, use it.
I mean, I could, but this annoys you much more, so it's more fun for me.
From over at the elevator, where Scree's kind of like helping people file in, Scree's like, Alpine Shadow.
See, that's preferable because at least
Outside
that's something.
shadow. Back across. Like
You hear some of the kids
back across. And we're gonna start a whole chorus. See, it's way more fun.
Duke just kind of flicks you in the nose and stands up and starts walking to the elevator.
We love it. Looks down at like the little bowls that were like probably still hanging out with Duke. Were you good? Was Duke being well behaving for you?
Just Duke over his shoulders, just like, show him what you learned.
They start like clambering, like,
And you
trying
see,
to, like, do, like,
see the bold children start doing a really rudiment.
They're so cute.
They start doing a really, really rudimentary tumble routine
Parkour.
in front of you, and
Parkour.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. It seems like the littler sister mole is a bit more skilled than her brother, but they seem to get it pretty all right.
Duke is an excellent teacher.
Does Betty
Duke
have a
is the
future
best
as a kid?
teacher.
Wait, Lab, what did you say?
Yeah, I didn't
Does
hear you.
Betty have a future in the circus?
Oh, excellent.
I don't know, with enough training, maybe. To start.
You see Betty kind of like bounds and goes, and kind of whispers to Benson, "Do you think Paul will let me join? Yeah, it'll be kind of fun." And Benson will just be like, "We have to take care of Paul so he doesn't drink himself to death. Let's go."
Poor kids with a freaking alcoholic father.
Poor kids.
So what you do when you get back is start hiding the alcohol where he can't reach it unless he does the cool moves that you're learning right now. And then trip him every time he tries, so he'll learn not to get the alcohol. See, kids, you can teach parents good lessons.
Also, you could water down alcohol, and if he just gets used to the watered down alcohol, then he'll stop noticing.
Until eventually it's just water.
And then you have a very well hydrated pup.
What are we
Teaching all these
teaching
kids
these
these
kids?
awful lessons. These like
What
this
are
is
we
how to
teaching
trick
these
your
kids?
parents into being not like
That's
functioning
happening.
adults. I
Parenting
feel like
advice from
I fear we've all revealed some characters' backstories of parents by accident here, or at least
Hey,
how we deal with
Duke.
the parents.
Duke has very happy parents who have like
But where are
7
they?
kids
But where are they?
Ooh,
KJ?
busy.
Anyways.
at home.
Or does he?
Oh.
I I will fight you.
Oh.
You leave
Spooky
my
man sounds.
untraumatized character alone.
Add a little bit of
Untraumatized means that they just
feist.
need a little more time in the oven. That's all. All right, so we gather up all the. is
So
there
you
anything
all
else
gather all the folks together.
anything else we want to do in the Underdark before we leave?
Nah.
Nah. Where's Worm?
Okay, so
got it.
group by group, you file Worms on Screw's shoulders. Just general rule of thumb for pets: if you don't involve them in combat, I will not involve them in combat. So
That means that they
if
can't get hurt.
like you don't want Worm to fight in a fight,
And nothing can go wrong.
exactly, yeah. So if you involve Worm in combat, then he will be involved in combat. But if you don't, then he won't be purposely targeted.
What
Just
is
general
it?
rule of thumb for pets and mounts. and
Schrodinger's
like-
Worm. Worm is both there and not there until you decide. I can never say that name. Anyways.
So you all, group by group of about 9 people at a time, go up the elevator and go back down. It takes a decent amount of time to get everyone out of the cavern below. And by the time you're done, the sun is setting and Duke falls asleep and passes out completely.
Passes out completely. So we put Duke in the little carry sack and just, much like Worm around Kree's shoulders. When Duke is not here, Duke is actually just an little carry sack that Kerr's carrying. On the spot fact: Duke has narcolepsy and just falls asleep randomly.
So as the last elevator
Stop
rises
examining
out
here now.
from the depths of the earth. Well, that would have been good timing. As the last elevator emerges from the bellows of the earth, and you enter into the golden hour world above, the grass is kind of swaying now, rimmed with this golden light, and a long shadow cast from the farmhouse in the distance. You all emerge and hunker down with your group of about 25 to 30 not civilians.
Normies.
Yeah, normies. Chester and Grundle kind of post themselves up on either side of the group, and Chester kind of looks back at the rest of you and goes, I do be thinking that it may be a good idea to circle in the folk while we make this trek across the Owl's Land. Anyone opposed?
Seconded.
Carried.
Don't start this.
All right,
Don't
so-
don't do this to me. You look specifically at you two. No, don't do this to me.
It has started.
You don't know what this is about
This
yet.
will continue throughout the entirety of the campaign.
Seems excellent.
So with that, what is the marching order? So you have the main group in the center of all the civilians, Chester and Grundle, and where would everyone else like to be?
Lav would like to scout ahead, actually.
Kerr would be
Okay.
bringing up the rear and just like paying attention, kind of above, since we know about the owl.
If Lav is further ahead, Scree's probably directly in front of the group with Jimmy and
Okay.
the other one.
Our trio of rats.
Okay.
Duke will just be.
And where's the
holding
Alpine Shadow
the
in all
charge
this?
of
Alpine Shadow.
Holding the charge of what?
the children.
Okay. So you're kind of like interspersed between, like in the group itself. Okay. Okay. So, with that said, Lav, make a. Are you more scouting, trying to find like hidden dangers, or are you scouting just trying to kind of like keep an eye out of the area ahead?
Specifically for any dangers, especially with what we've all just been through. So we don't want to stumble across anybody else at this point, knowing there's a wild predator in the area as well, and we have a lot of small folk. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, Lab, you're keeping an eye out for any dangers, which will add advantage to, I guess, Scree, who will be making the survival check to guide everyone through as the leader of the main group. So, survival check with advantage to try to guide the path through the tall grasses with advantage, because Lab is keeping an eye out for dangers.
That is a 16 both times.
Heyo. That's pretty good.
16. Okay. Nice. So, and that's with your survival bonus?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Sweet. Perfect. So,
Could actually hold
not too bad.
Could
You,
if I could,
yes.
Could be when earlier when we were doing like the Alpine Shadow back out, could I have given Scree an inspiration? Not that they need to use it now, but like I would like to have like dropped an inspiration off for them.
Yeah, absolutely. We can retcon that.
Yeah.
So Scree, you also have Bardic Inspiration. As you progress forward, trying to keep everyone quiet, Duke doing your best to like keep the kids quiet, and you can tell there's, as happy and joyous as everyone was to be freed, they're still on edge, especially now that they're in the open. And for a lot of these people, they haven't been in a space this wide and this open for quite a while. So you can sense that tensions are high, and just everyone's kind of on edge as you progress through this ever darkening open field, especially with the fact that Chester let everyone know that there was a big beastie in the area. So, as you progress, you trek forward. Kerr, make a perception check because you're keeping an eye out for the owl, and Lav, make a investigation check as you kind of like stay low and keep a really close eye on the surrounding area.
Can I give advantage as Duke is sitting and using his nose to keep tabs on things?
I'll say you can give advantage to Kerr because he's the closest to you.
I will happily take that advantage because that was a 7, so that was not great. Please be better. Oh, that was way better. 17 with advantage.
Much better than my 9.
Much. We got this. Together as a group, nothing can go wrong.
So, with your 9 Lav, you're just kind of keeping an eye out, and you do catch some scurrying in the sides, but you quickly recognize it as the Shrew conglomerate. Just kind of like tracking your entire group as you go. Kerr, with your 17, kind of hanging back, keeping an eye to the sky, you just barely catch a silent shadow fly over kind of the entirety of the field, not towards you, but just across.
So, to any of the adults in the area, like Kerr is going to just like do like a lean in and like whisper. Don't be alarmed, but there is an owl nearby. If we need to, be prepared to carefully get under cover. Pass that along. Just like has that go up the chain, not in like a panicky way, but just as like a just be aware of this to the adults and just has them pass it along.
When that hits Duke, Duke actually kind of takes in the information, is keeping his nose to the air to sense anything that comes close enough that he can get a whiff of it. And just kind of down to the kids, one arm around each of them, will just be like, all right, we're going to play a game, but we've got to be really quiet. Do you know what prairie dogs are?
Okay. You see some of them look confused, but there's a little long-eared haired child that kind of peps and goes, yeah.
Do you know how you know how they'll do the thing where they're down really low in the grass and every once in a while we'll pop up, see what's going on, and then we'll hide and run low in the grass again? We're going to play it. We're going to take turns popping up, all right? But you've got to be quiet.
Okay. Duke, make a persuasion check with advantage.
He'll just leave
and
them in
make a
this
general
state.
charisma check.
Okay, general charisma.
Okay. Yeah, so just a roll plus your
Persuasion, you
charisma
say?
modifier. Yes.
Oh, God, please be good.
Ooh.
It's so cute.
It's so cute.
He's
Oh.
trying to keep this lighthearted for the kids while giving them a way to stay hidden.
Yeah.
+4.
That was an unnatural 20 for my charisma roll. It's the highest I rolled so
21.
far. Damn.
Nice.
The bards are barding.
21 and a 20. So with the bards are barding. So as you kind of disperse this information, being selective with the adults you tell, trying to tell the ones that are seem to be most, the information disperses and bypasses the children as Duke starts this game of prairie dog with them.
Yeah.
You see Chester and Grundle, like, very leisurely just like put a hand on their weapons, which Chester doesn't have a weapon, but you see he kind of like
Chester
rattles
is
his
the weapon.
spice a little bit, and Grundle just casually pulls out his sword, just kind of like pulls it out and then just like kind of starts inspecting it and like shining it, to not put anyone on edge. And slowly the information wells across the crowd of people up to Scree and Jimmy and the other one. And
Has no name.
No, his name is
And kinda like
And
this-
the other one.
The other one.
this adult otter figure, who's just dressed very plainly. One of the ex-slaves kind of like whispers in, his long whiskers kind of mixing with yours for a second, and goes, I was out. Everyone seems pretty come this far, but eyes up. And you see he kind of like picks up a rock off the ground and puts it into this makeshift sling that he's fashioned.
Good. Thank you. And then Scree will turn to Jimmy and the other one and be like, hey, it's like, yeah, be aware of the sky, but we're still gonna like keep a good eye on the ground, especially if everyone else is aware of the owl. We'll keep an eye down here.
Okay.
Break.
Oh, cool. Were you saying something?
Yeah, question for DM. Was Kerr able to see what kind of owl it was when they were flying overhead? Or was it just too fast?
I think it was too fast. You just barely caught its stealth check, so it was more just a shadow to you at that point.
Perfect.
Um,
Okay.
so you keep progressing onwards. I'm going to have you all roll stealth checks, and I'm going to roll some stealth checks for the group.
Siltex.
Do
The
the
big
little kids
chonker
have
will be the big.
advantage because
chunk-
you're smart?
I'm going to say the little kids will be connected to your stealth roll, actually, because you're kind of leading that.
Okay, I better roll fucking
No
good
pressure.
then.
Roll
But yes.
good. You
Yeah.
don't distract the children with play too much. The dangers of play. Is
And
that
then
sometimes
this
you
big
weren't.
chunker is going to be the rest of them.
What are my bonuses?
So bad.
That's not a good sound.
This is supposed to be the one thing I'm.
The kids are safe.
How do you do 9 in sign again? Is it the? Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
9.
How do you do
Wait, is
24?
it? Jesus Christ! Did you say 24?
At least the children will be safe.
The children are so safe. 24. 24 lessons. We're learning so good today. This
I
has
got
been your.
17.
All right. So, the group did not do great.
Oh,
So as you are all, the group didn't roll higher than a 6, which isn't great.
so they have a great warrior.
But luckily, it was a full
Stop
group.
crying, jeez.
I know it's bright, but can't you just get over it already? You've only been underground for who knows how long.
So as the sun
We're
sets
having,
even
like,
more, and you make your way through.
What's the opposite of claustrophobia, where like there's too much sky? Like, oh no.
Getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're just getting
But
overstimulated.
the kids are safe, though.
The kids are having
Yeah.
a grand time. That's all that matters.
Mhm. So as the kids are kind of in the center of this group, ducking and weaving between the parents, and you all progress through the tall grasses of the surrounding field, you're making good progress. And then a shadow passes over you all. And as the shadow passes over, you hear... God damn it, other one. When you have to roll a nat 1. As they're focusing on...
My boy!
No, not other one.
As they're focusing on the ground, and the shadow, they kind of catch the shadow going across the ground, accentuated by the setting sun, and look up, and you hear them just go. They just let out this screech, just, ah! That sets a few other folks on edge. And they look up and catch the shadow of the owl just swooping over you. And as they do, you can all see it now as it arcs up and tilts and starts heading back in your direction, seemingly having locked on to where you guys are.
Did they take other one? No. Scree has a question.
What are you guys doing?
Did it take the other one?
Did it take other one?
No.
Or did
Okay,
it...
cool.
Okay.
Cool, cool,
It's
cool.
going to. You're muted.
They
It's
just
about to.
yelped. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sounds okay.
That makes sense.
So
There we go. Sorry, that was weird.
all right.
No,
As
they
soon as-
didn't. They seem to be doing like a hunting arc, and then the other one alerting them caused them to turn around. And now they're gonna kind of search things out.
Okay. Kerr is going to like take a huge breath once that sound goes off, and once like the shadow comes, like looks like they're curving around, and just shout, "Get to cover!" And then like pull out the owl that they have from the fight, and then just like try and be a big target, basically.
Okay.
How far are we from like the barrel, or
Okay.
like any of the barrels in the field?
Oh. You've bypassed the barrel at this point, but make a perception check to see if there is any good cover, any like new wreckage around.
So, I'll wait for the roll.
What is my perception?
I believe in, and you have inspiration. I believe in you.
I do. I
You do.
don't think I'll need it because that's a 19. That's a dirty
yes.
19.
That's a filthy 19.
Dirty 18.
19. Dirty
19.
All right.
Clean 18. Dirty
Clean
19.
18. Dirty 19.
Clean
A filthy 19 if you will.
18. So as
19.
Kerr pulls out their all, and you kind of try to look around, trying to catch anything that could be used as cover. You spot a couple options that you can choose from. You see an old you see this large hunk of metal that kind of goes up and then arcs over and down, and it has this hole that's just been weared through it with rust, and then these two long wooden beams that stick out. That is massive. It could probably hold the entirety of your group easily, but it does have lots of rust spots in it. It's an overturned wheelbarrow that has kind of been lost and forgotten.
Neat.
That's about 30 acorns away from you. Through the grass past that, you can see the looming structure of the barn house. And a bit closer than all of that, you see there's just a fallen over halved watermelon that's kind of rotting, and that's been hollowed out and eaten by all the grubs and worms of the area, which is closer and you can get to a lot faster. That one's like right off the road to your left. It's not as big as the wheelbarrow, but it's closer and could maybe just barely fit you all. So those are your three options: the watermelon shell, the overturned wheelbarrow, or the farmhouse.
What you got, KJ?
At least because Duke is taking charge of the kids, Duke knows how fast he can dig. He's good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So what Duke is going to do, as he's trying to keep these calm with...
Oh no. Oh no.
While Duke is assumedly digging.
Oh, no. Assumedly digging.
Scree's walking speed at least is 30 acorns.
Mm-hmm.
And so Scree is going to tell people, book it to the metal box. I kind of run with them. And once Scree gets there, they're going to usher people in and kind of like, just get people under there. Assumedly, people who do get under there, they'll be like, all right, pointy things, cover the holes. Like, stick out of the holes.
Yes.
All right. You corral everyone into the overturned wheelbarrow and tell people to start sticking as like any pointy object they have, which there was the armory in the mine. So some of them have kitted themselves out with various kit and caboodle. So as you're kind of bashing yourself in this overturned wheelbarrow, Duke, what were you doing?
Duke using, because I have 15 feet burrow speed. As soon as that owl turned to start heading back, he knows he's got a little bit of time. And so instead of trying to chance it by running to something nearby to try to hide that way, Duke is going to just kind of look at the kids and say, stay here. I'm going to burrow. We're all going to hide in the grass. It won't find us. All right? And then we'll start tunneling as fast as he can to make a little pocket underneath of the ground for these kids.
Okay. So you start burrowing and kind of start making a small little den under the ground with kids with your 15 feet of burrow speed. Everyone, Scree is leading the majority of the group into the overturned wheelbarrow. Lav, what are you doing?
So Lav would like to go to the... Well, I suppose would Lav have seen the watermelon? Because she's the furthest away from the group.
Yes, because you were scouting ahead of
Yeah,
us,
you've
so-
been keeping an eye on like keeping things out, so you would have noticed all the things as the lookout. Yeah.
Yeah. Lav's gonna go to the watermelon, actually, and duck into there.
Smart.
Pulling out her knife blade.
The knife chain. Oh, that was a cool thing. Okay. All right. So with Kerr's like shouting
Okay.
to
And
everybody,
Kerr, what are
and,
you
like,
doing?
So with Kerr shouting to everybody and kind of like the forewarning, is there like I just want to make sure that there's no like mass panic while they're like moving on to try and like get cover real fast. And then otherwise, Kerr is going to very much start like making lots of like boisterous noises and like swinging the owl, the owl that he has from the fight, and just trying to get attention basically because he's biggest out of a lot of the group.
Okay, make make an intimidation check.
Oh, excellent.
An intimidation check.
Please be good. It's my intimidation. All right, please. I beg of you. I beg you. Please. Not great.
Which, as you're doing this, you see Chester and Grundle run up next to you as you're doing this.
Okay. Total is going to be a 15.
Okay.
Oh, wait. It was
15
on the dice.
Okay. As the owl swoops around, the last member of the group that Scree's kind of ushering into the wheelbarrow barely makes it in as the owl, you see, kind of swoops down into this opening in the grass that you are all in, and his wingtips just barely touching either side of the grass. You can kind of see the grass on each side going as it barrels towards you, which adds this kind of ominous, kind of crackling sound. And as it gets closer, you can see what this black shadow just turns into this pristine white with little black speckles and golden eyes swooping towards you. As at the last second, it curves up, and you see these just razor sharp talons on these yellow scaled feet lunge towards you, and the group of you, Grundle and Chester. And I need you to either make a dexterity check, a dexterity saving throw, or a strength saving throw, as the screeches and as the owl barrels down towards you. This large, gargantuan, snowy owl barrels towards you.
Okay, so it was either a strength check or a dexterity saving throw.
A strength saving throw or a dexterity saving throw.
Okay,
either one.
I think I'm gonna do a strength because that's my higher. Okay. I get advantage on dex, but I think I'm gonna go with strength because I think Kerr is very much just trying to body this. All right, I don't like you. You didn't do as well. We're gonna do you. Please do better. This is the blessed ruby dice from our Life in Mosh. Please do good.
Do you want the inspiration back?
No, I can't do that.
Well,
I know.
He has an inspiration, actually.
Yeah, you currently have.
Oh, I do.
From the DM.
I'm gonna. I don't know if he'll do great because that was a natural 3, plus my 6 because I have +6 to my strength saving throws. That's a 9. I don't know that I'm gonna get a D6 worth of help on this, but you know what?
Also, don't you have inspiration from?
Well, no, inspiration. Well, inspiration.
How do you
DM inspiration is different than bardic inspiration. DM inspiration, like game inspiration, is a reroll.
Oh, it's a reroll.
Like you get to reroll it. Yeah.
I'm gonna re-roll that. That feels like I should re-roll that. I'm either about to die or not. So we are going to re-roll that. So we're gonna give this one another try.
And Ruby, the inspiration that Duke had given to Kerr only lasts 10 minutes, so it's fucking gone.
That's a 16. So +6 is 22.
16. 22. Yes. Okay. Big old chonker for the owl.
L for watching Redwall when you were a child.
All right. That is an 11 plus 5.
Oh my god.
So 16. As the owl. Okay, hold on. So Chester dodges out of the way, and Grundle tries to brunt it too. Okay. So you see Chester curl into a ball and Sonic out of the way as both you and Grundle just body the two talons of this owl. But as you get in close, you feel its talons dig into your back, dealing Oh,
Can I bonus action
not bad.
rage?
Dealing 3 points of damage. Dealing 3 points of piercing damage to you. Ugh.
Damn.
And 6 points of piercing damage to Grundle. But as you do, you lock your arms around the back of the talons and stop the charge of the owl in place between both of your strength checks. You both kind of latch onto its talons and stop the owl in place, and it just kind of like it grabbed onto a solid log, and it's just like the momentum carried the top half of its body into the ground.
Excellent.
Which
Excellent.
causes it to take some damage too. Okay. Dealing 6 points of damage to the owl.
Hell yes.
Can
I bonus
as you
action
two have
rage?
effectively grappled it.
Excellent. And can I bonus action rage now? Because I feel like I should do that now
Absolutely.
before anything else happens. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. You're the best.
Absolutely, yeah.
Rage. It's my last rage for the day.
All right. And with that, we're going to go into initiative. Which, just as a reminder to everyone, initiative doesn't mean you have to fight. It just means that we are now in initiative mode, so you guys can still try to run if you wish to.
Did you get a good roll?
That would be a nat 20 plus 3. So I got
Nice.
23.
Excellente. Just totally tubular. And Alpine Shadow taking that Alpine pause, as is the usual.
Dude, he's so hidden.
He's so
hidden right now.
Alpine Shadow.
That burrow is
Alpine
pristine.
Shadow. Yeah.
Dug
I
that
mean,
DP diggity dig.
he dug a big,
Uh,
essentially a new house. He's digging out like furniture,
It's
Yeah,
got tunnels.
got a couch.
little
He's got tunnels
chairs
down
for
there.
each one of the kids.
Very much. You know that scene in Bug's Life where the kids are like all playing cards together with Francis? That's Duke and all the kids. Looks like it was a 17 in the comments. That was a 14 total for her initiative.
It's a 19 for Scree. Are we
Guys, this is-
fighting this thing right now?
We don't have
This guy's
to.
huge.
We might be able to intimidate / make friends / make them fuck off. We'll see how that
I
goes.
don't know if we can make friends with this guy.
I'm gonna try something I haven't
Zatar,
done
you
before
are
too.
muted currently.
You are muted, boss.
Yep. To put into perspective, its talons engulfed your entire body, like one over each of your shoulders, it's like, and then the bottom one kind of like under your, and both of you, it like fully engrossed both of you, and if you guys weren't strong enough, would have just carried you away. But you beat its strength check.
We did.
I don't
So
know how much
well.
sentience
I mean,
this has.
It's true. You guys don't know. You guys do know that there are gargantuan creatures that have a level of sentience now that you've met Austera, but you don't know how many of those exist because most of the creatures that are large are still primal. So you don't know. It's up to you guys. You guys can do whatever.
I thought it was a primal or a semi-primal. I think it both mentioned it was a semi-primal.
The shrews.
The shrews.
The shrews never got their friend back. That was kind of the answer we got.
The shrews never got their friends back, which also means that the shrews haven't really interacted with the owl too much. So who knows how much of a reliable source they are. So
Trust them with
once
my
again,
life.
it is up to you guys. All right, so getting the initiative going. I didn't roll for the goal. Okay, so we got Lab up first, and then we got Scree, Brundle, Duke, Kerr, Owl, and Chester. All right, so first up, we have Lav. What are you doing?
How far away am I currently from me in the hollowed out watermelon from the owl? How distance? You're
pretty close. The watermelon was like 20 feet away from the wheelbarrow. So, and then Kerr, Chester, and Grundle kind of posted up between the two. So you're probably about like 10 feet away.
Lab is going to throw her chain dagger, attempting to use it to tangle like the tail of the owl. Kind of getting another grip point on it to get it off of Kerr and Grundle.
Okay, roll to hit.
$23.
Okay, that definitely hits. Roll for damage, and it didn't know where you are, so it's sneak. You were hidden before it got there, so you have sneak attack damage added on to it.
Sneak attack. Get it.
Sneak attack's amazing, guys.
Oh, right? Excellent.
12.
Ooh, damage or hit?
12 points of damage. Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay. And then I'm gonna have it make a dexterity saving throw to see if it gets entangled in your chain.
Fuck yes.
That's a 17 total. I haven't made a DC for your chain and grappling yet, but I feel like 17 would be high. We're gonna say let's give your chain a DC.
Well, for example, for my
12
magic item, it's a
now.
DC 14. So yeah,
to entangle someone when you try to entangle someone with it. Yeah, which can increase as you increase in level. So it tries to wrap around, and it kind of just shakes itself and releases itself from your entanglement. But you still did a hefty amount of damage to it. Anything else you'd like to do, Lav? You still have your bonus action and your move, which it now knows where you are. So if you would like to hide again.
I would hide again, yes. So I'll like tuck back in and get out of its sight.
Okay, you hiding again. Make a stealth check for me, and that will bring us to Scree. You're up.
Scree's gonna yell out to Kerr. Kerr, are we fighting this thing?
If while Kerr is being grappled / grappling, because like once the owl grabbed on, I think Kerr would have like absolutely like shouldered the weapon and just grabbed on back.
Yeah.
Don't
It is
have
especially
to.
it is effectively grappled with you and Gribble.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Make the call.
If he wants to leave, I'm fine with it. And just like bites, not like that damage is happening, but just like bites down onto the thing that's grappling him.
Did he say he's flying with it, or he's fine with it if it wants to leave?
Whatever Scree heard is what.
What did you say?
Make a perception check.
I will clarify.
Make a perception check, Scree.
Based on what you get, I will clarify. This is way more fun.
14.
Mm.
Kerr, what did you say?
All right, I'll say that like a post 10 is good enough to hear Kerr. Kerr's fine with this owl deciding to fuck off. So Kerr wants them to leave. That's all it is. We don't have to kill it. Just
Okay.
We want them to leave. So if they are scared, it's better.
With that call, Scream be like, all right, get over here. And continue to hold down the fort at the wheelbarrow.
Okay, cool. Would you like
I
to hold any action of any sort?
Yeah, I'll hold my action to stab the owl should it approach wheelbarrow, and instruct my rat buddies and the group over here to do the same.
You know, we really want Jimmy
Awesome.
and other one to live, so it's important that they get into cover now.
Especially the other one. Jimmy's cool.
Especially
Jimmy's
the other
cool.
Jimmy's all right, but
Well,
the other
Jimmy's the
one,
artist.
the other one doesn't have a name yet, and when that background's like level up happens, it'll be really nice.
All right, so you kind of pincushion the wheelbarrow in preparation, tell Kerr to run over to you, and we're going to move on to Grundle's turn. But first, Lab, what did you roll for stealth?
Nat 20 plus 5.
Nat 20 plus 5? Cool. That
Lav has
is,
ceased
yep,
to
you
be
feel effectively
a
hidden.
blip on the map.
Oh.
Lav is no longer perceived.
Just burrowed into the remaining flesh of the watermelon, just snacking on the watermelon now. I wouldn't suggest it because it's very rotten. Moving on to
that's
Grundle
nice.
and hearing what the conversation between Kerr and Scree.
Conversation.
He's going to break his grapple with the owl and kind of push himself out of the talon and kind of just jump up and grab a load of feathers and rip them out and then yell, "Okay, you beastie, you don't want to fight us, we'll kick your ass, so just get out of here." And try to intimidate him to leave. With advantage, because the owl actually is already kind of realized bitten more than he can chew here.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
As Kerr gnaws on the
Okay.
hand that's gripping him. Literally bit off more than he could chew.
So you see the owl, Kerr, you feel the owl's talons loosen around you as kind of in reaction to getting the feathers ripped out of its chest, which Grundle's now just holding like 3 large owl feathers. As he lands back onto the ground and looks towards you, you're released from the grapple, so now you're just holding on to its talon. And that'll end Grundle's turn because he's not moving anywhere. And bring us to Duke. You're up in your little burrow with the children.
You're muted.
My internet disconnected, but we're here now. We're here now.
Here. You're in the burrow with the children.
Yes. Duke is the way this has happened is Duke burst in and created not a very deep hole, but a very wide one to just fit all these kids. And it's been just kind of attached himself to where the opening is to make sure all of the kids stay in the hole, and will just kind of peek his head out the top of it to see what's going on, see what's happening, duck back in, and just will be sitting here with these kids, just talking them through what's happening in the most gentlest way as to not frighten them and just kind of keep them calm as all of this is happening. His focus is kids.
Okay. Make either a persuasion or performance check, whichever one you'd like. Whichever way you'd like to handle this.
You're gonna scare the kids.
I mean,
into
they're
listening
the
to you?
same.
So, which is the flavor? Do you want
Intimidation
to
check
check
for children.
Entice them, or entice them into listening to you? Are you a cool older friend, or are you like a scary older friend? Cool babysitter, scary babysitter. That's the That's the way.
We know Kerr's the scary babysitter.
What are you
Absolutely.
talking about?
So
I know.
Arnar.
Alpine pause. Arnar.
I feel like
Just
while
make an
Duke is
emote for that.
Alpine pause. Oh, I'll get started on it.
pause because I feel like Duke would be the cool uncle, Kerr would be the scary one, Lav would be like the sweet aunt,
This is really sweet. man.
Scree would be like, yes, children. Hello, fellow kids.
Alpine Shadow's back.
Alpine Shadow.
Alpine pause for dramatic
it's
effect.
funny because I
Ended.
have the stream open on my phone, so I know what you guys are saying
Yeah,
when
I
I
know.
freeze. It's so funny
That's
to
why
me.
we talk.
Um,
It makes it more fun.
Yes. I have the same modifier for both persuasion and performance, but Duke is a performer. Duke is a circus person. To perform for these kids, it's 3DM.
It's an art. It's a
23, you said?
Jesus.
Okay. I'm going to take that as a 23 with the Alpine pause.
Yes,
Lengthy Alpine
23.
pause. 23. Excellent.
Perfect. Awesome. So you kind of duck back in, and you can see, like, the kids can hear what's happening. It's not quiet. Like, the only noise that the owl made when making its dive was the sound of the tips of its wings hitting the tall grasses on its way in. Other than that, it was completely silent before the screech, which is terrifying. But you kind of duck back in, and dipping into kind of like your storyteller persona, you start describing what's happening to them in the most like grandiose, epic battle way for your friends, that the kids are, even though they're still scared, they are completely enraptured in your storytelling, which distracts them enough from the chaos that's happening outside. With that,
I think you would 100% also lean a little bit into like interacting with the kids, not just this huge storytelling, but like assigning them roles of who they are and letting them pretend to be these great heroes and warriors.
So as this amazing little theatrical performance is happening
LARPing.
underground, feet away from an actual battle that's happening,
Oh my God.
we come to Kurt. So the owl has released you. You're still holding on to the owl, and Grundle is like 5 feet away from you, holding owl feathers in his claws. His claws.
Excellent. So I am currently raging. I would like to. Where's my attacks? I would like to
double rage.
No, I'm already raging. So I'd like to make an attack with the collar owl. Now that like I am just like holding on to it, he's not like holding on to me anymore. They're not holding on to me anymore. I'm going to let go and grab the owl and just like jump and try and stab at the owl as with the owl.
Okay.
I'm going to stab the owl. Thank you for making me practice my pronunciation today.
Owl, owl.
Yeah, right.
Owl, 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 owl. You stab the owl with the awl. There we go.
Owl with the owl.
So jump up and make your attack.
14.
14, cool. And since you're using the piercing side, you can use the thrown damage instead of the blunt damage.
Okay.
Did you say a 14?
14.
Yep, that just hits.
That just hits? Okay. What's the difference between the throne or the... Hold on. Difference between...
It should say in the description, I think.
I'm looking at the description. I'm sorry. I'm trying to just reading it. All right. So, collar owl.
Oh, no, you're good. New weapon. First time with new weapon.
Right. Oh, with an extra plus 1 damage. Okay, so it actually would be 15 with that plus 1 damage attack.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
I don't think I see anything with specifically it being thrown, so I'm just going to do the 2d6 plus 5. Just because I think like Kerr is like absolutely like letting go and like jumping at it to like stab down, just like full body into it. So with the 2d6, that was not a d6. That was one of my d6, and then I rolled a d8. That wasn't right. Okay, so I got 8 on the dice.
Oh, right. It is. Sorry, I forgot I made it that way. Sorry.
Okay, no, all good, all good. So
8 on the dice.
8 on the dice plus 5 is that's 13, right? Is that plus my strength?
13, nice.
Do I plus my strength on top of that, or is that already the damage?
That's already included in the plus 5. It should be.
Perfect. Okay, so then so that's 12 damage, and then oh, and I'm raging. Fuck, I always forget I'm raging. What does my rage do? That's
yeah, at that rage.
So 15 total then. And so then at that point, Kurt is going to just like scream into this owl's face after jumping on him and like making a stab, and just say leave. And just like totally unhinged, just like absolutely looks like feral and like foaming at the mouth.
Awesome. Make an intimidation check, and that'll be your bonus action.
Okay, that'll be my bonus action. Where's my invitation? Please be good.
I feel like you have decent intimidation.
Not when I roll a natural 2. I do. 2 plus 4 is 6 intimidation. So foaming at the mouth and raging still may not be enough to be scary in this moment. I'm guessing like Kerr is like slipping as he's like trying to like hold on while stabbing. But
I mean,
quite have
your
an eye
intimidation plus your damage plus the intimidation of Grundle. As you fall to the ground, kind of like you jumped up and stabbed in, and you kind of like dangled in the air a second until the all lost purchase in the owl and fell back to the ground, and you bare your teeth and scream leave. And as you do, the reason that your intimidation didn't purchase as much as you thought it would is because the owl was already turning and leaving. As it
my face.
leaps up and he starts making these large power thrusts with his wings up, as you see that from the gouge you just did, blood is starting to soak its pure white feathers. And there's just a bald spot right above where you stabbed, as like it starts just powerlifting and trying to go away, and uses its entire action and movement to get the fuck out. And you can tell that owl was very messed up. Like, he was close. And as the predator and main top predator of this field, it does not want to lose its title. So
I want.
Books it out of there, and completely silently, after the power thrust down, completely silently just out of the area. Bring us to Chester, who we're out of initiative now. But Chester, who would have ended initiative and brought us back to the top round, like unfurls and just kind of goes, "That's right, you get out of here, you big fluffy feathered fuck." And then Grundle just kind of walks over with the feathers and just like bats Chester. Is like, "Great job there, spiky ball boy." Like Grundle and Chester start kind of like bantering back each other, poking fun at each other. Quiet returns to the area around, and you all start kind of emerging from your holes as you hear, "Well, that was very good. Congratulations. Seconded, carried." As the shrews run out from the grasses and goes, "We haven't seen someone put that much danger into the owl in many a year." I'm like, and the grass-hatted one walks up and goes, "We have been discussing during your fight, and we wish to present to you Shrew Friend Award. So you are a true friend."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I present the motion to give this title to the dashing quadruple. What is 5? All the shrews kind of look around and just shrug. "To the dashing 5 of you. Motion presented. Seconded. Carried. Hoi!" And they all, like all the shrews, just kind of walk up to you and start shaking your hands. And because the owl didn't fly back to the barn, it flew out and away.
And away.
Dang.
All right. Kerr is going to straight up with the one that keeps saying seconded, and the one that says carried afterward every single time. Is it a different one, or is it the same one every single time?
It's a different one every time.
Right, the one who is the most...
it seems to be the seconded is always from the same person. That's the female with the leather thong cap. But the carried is a random other one.
All right. With the one who most recently said carried, Kerr, still kind of in a bit of like the extra energy, adrenaline hype from the fight, is going to be like, "I'll show you carried," and like lifts up the shrew and puts him on his shoulder, and then starts being like, "That owl is nothing but fur on our hands," like, "Yo ho," points to people, and like just basically starts like a freaking just like round of applause and just like energy hyping up everybody to kind of get everyone back into the
Start
group
a
in a
hype
circle. Pretty much, just like no one can stop us, no one can fight us. Like a little bit also maybe for everyone who's still overwhelmed at back and being up and above, that they can fight against everything again, and that there's more, and it can be fun, and they have to be laughing, because we kind of came up and we were still being quiet and careful, and now Kerr is basically just saying fuck you to the world and its troubles.
All right, so starting your war song and war chant. Oh, there goes the dice. Make a performance check for me, Kerr.
Oh god. All right, pray for me. Where's my performance?
I will say, as all of this is happening, it takes a second before Duke and all of the kids actually come out of the hole, because they were like finishing the climactic battle, and Duke just, instead of like the flying away of the owl, Duke just lets them kill him.
This is adorable.
That's so cute.
That's amazing.
Now you've basically died twice.
Like, absolutely.
Yep.
13 on the dice, 17 total.
All right. 13 on the dice, 17 total. You pick up a shrew and just start full barrel chesting, singing this song around, which for a lot of you guys, this is kind of the first time you've heard Kerr sing. Besides just like slight mumbling with the 99 bottles of beer, this is the first time that you've heard like Kerr sing of his own. And he's got a good voice. As he starts raising the morale of everyone around, the shrews start kind of joining in with their rough and tumble, gruff kind of voices. The kids, as Duke kind of like crawls out feigning death from the hole, start coming out, and then you can tell the one who is kind of role-playing Kerr has smudged dirt and mud onto its face to kind of mimic the black stripes, and starts singing the song of that Kerr is singing, kind of like from one of the watermelon seeds that's fallen out, hoists it onto his shoulder to replicate the shrew, and just starts like following around Kerr, like right behind. And you can see that the whole situation, the whole crew and all of the people in the area start kind of like getting a bit more jovial and emerge, and you can sense that the entire morale of the crew has escalated with seeing the joy of the shrews that their hunter is now gone, the song from Kerr, and just kind of the not naivety, the like just pure joy of the children having fun, who have just been like never like really saw the full danger of the situation, but was just role playing the entire time. Like seeing all the children come out, it's infectious to the entire crowd. And the rest of your journey through this grassland goes unfettered now that the main predator of the wood, who kept all the other predators away, is gone. And the field is essentially yours to journey through. And the shrews stick with you. And kind of like the story keeps getting more and more dramatic every time it's retold by each shrew, because they just were sitting and watching the entire thing. So like as the circle goes down, it's like, oh, and then Kerr climbed onto the back of the owl and raised him and rode him through the sky. Like they know that's not what happened, but they just keep adding on to it every single time, and it grows bigger and bigger as your once timid group of newly freed people grows into an almost like ruckus parade through the night of this open field.
Scree's absolutely just hanging out with the shrews and like joining
What
them
would
and being
you all
like, oh yeah, and Chester, like, yeah, when he ripped off the leg, that was crazy.
Oh my God, just adding on. Oh god.
So, Lab's actually not currently around for this. She is still hidden. DM, with Lab's survival skill, as well as advantage against poisons, and her general knowledge of rummaging and years of experience not necessarily having fresh food, could she be sitting in the watermelon just kind of like munching on the best of the pieces?
You most absolutely could. You're just gorging yourself on a watermelon. You do hear that everyone is walking away
Fermented
as the
watermelon.
ruckus starts getting
Fermented.
quieter and quieter, and fermented watermelon. So, make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh no!
It's
Excellent,
been in the sun
excellent.
for a while.
It's been. Do you want to share that with some Kurt?
That would be a 5.
Excellent.
So, as you progressively eat this rotten watermelon, trying to choose the best bits, there comes a point where you pull a piece that you think is there, and it kind of makes a whole section of it collapse, and you just kind of fall to the ground and kind of like tumble out of the watermelon and see that the lights of your group are kind of like slightly fading in the distance. And you're pretty sloshed.
They forgot. And I'll kind of like stumble run to try to catch up with everyone.
Oh no! No, we wouldn't have forgotten you. A little boisterous, but we wouldn't have forgotten you.
As you say that they forgot you,
No.
you didn't realize because you're too intoxicated that as you tumbled out and kind of like see the lights disappearing, they forgot you. You just kind of hear next to you,
There he is.
and you just see Puddle sitting next to the watermelon, just like staring up at you, smiling. Just walks over to you and just kind of taps you. It's like, come on, let's go. And grabs your hand and starts chasing after.
Puddle just keeps me steady.
Aww.
Aw,
That's so sweet.
I'm a Puddle friend.
Mhm.
All right.
Whenever Lav
This large of a
rejoins,
group and with the skills between everyone there. Yes.
just whenever Lav rejoins, I think at some point like her would like definitely
go
lean
for it.
down and be like, "Did you save any for me?"
Aw.
Careful, it's a little strong.
And just chomps it down.
Lab's face is just like, that blush of like, I've had too much.
Kerr lifts Lav onto the other arm. And I don't know if they're still carrying the shrew, but if they're fine with it, then like there's now just like a little creature on each arm.
The shrew seems unopposed,
Perfect. Excellent.
or seems to not oppose your carry.
Face.
Um,
It's nice being tall.
As it is. So, between the strengths of your group, you could easily make it back to the river through the wood and back to the boat where you left your boat, your ship. But that said, night falls fully. You kind of post up a camp before reaching the river, and everyone starts making ramshackle lean-tos. Some people stole some tents and camping gear from the mines. You all have your camping stuff. You all settle down for the night. Watches are covered by other people, so you don't have to worry about watches tonight. And you all kind of have a fire to yourself. What would you guys like to do next?
Lavender would like to take out one of the
Yeah.
popcorn kernel, one of the corn kernels,
Oh my
and
god.
skewer it over the fire to try to roast it, because she's seen that critters have been like munching on these. This one's been fairly dried out at this
Scree
point.
would absolutely volunteer using the collar awl for it to just like skewer it and then put it over.
So we're kind of like pit roasting, spinning it over the fire at this point. You know, trying to get that nice, good toast on this dried kernel.
Does it eventually
Which, because it's dried,
Because it's
it would
dry.
hypothetically end up popping.
It would
pop? Just one pop.
So you all sit around this fire, kind of using the collar as a spit, this slowly turning this corn kernel. And you can hear around you, there's some music happening, some laughter. And for the first time in a little bit, you haven't been on the road for very long, but this is the first time that there's been quiet and not tension for quite a while. And you can kind of hear Chester and Grundle have dipped into some lubricants and are getting a bit tipsy with each other, talking about old war stories from before, laughing and kind of trundling through. There's one point where you see Chester's curled up in a ball and Grundle's just like rolling him around.
Oh my god.
There's some fireflies drifting in and out of the area around you, and the area you're back into the thick wood, the tall silver barked trees kind of around you, speckled around with some open ground around you, and the tents just kind of speckling in between the gaps of the trees. And your section's kind of sequestered a little bit from everyone else, kind of everyone giving you your own space as the rescuers of the day. And for the first time for a lot of you, this is your first real major victory. And your first time where you've like sat down and had a chance to be like, fuck, we did that. We actually saved a group of people. And as that whole kind of, there's a kind of quiet between you all for a second until the corn kernel pops into this billowing, puffy white popcorn kernel that's now on the spit. And you all kind of chuckle and giggle, and the night is yours.
Dad told me about this once.
Duke, while this is happening and people start snacking on this popcorn kernel, will lean over to Kerr and just ask, "You know how to play any instruments?"
Oh,
What
we
just
lost
happened?
Elle for a second. Elle, are you back?
I'm my back. I didn't know what
Okay.
happened. It just you all went dark for a second. Was I okay? I'm here. Kerr will kind of like a little bit bashful, be like, hey, it's all right, and pull out his like.
No, Elle.
They're having knee problems. Alpine pause.
Don't go towards the light. Go towards the shadow, the alpine shadow.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
can
you're
hear
back.
ya.
Oh.
So I don't know what is happening. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Hopefully nothing else will happen.
And nothing can go wrong.
Where did I lose y'all?
You're back.
Pulled out.
Okay, I'm back.
Something.
I pulled out the
Pulled out.
guitar, lute, whatever it is. It's basically a guitar. And he starts just strumming it. Kind of being a little bashful, like not trying to be very show offy with it. And he just says, "It's something my granddad taught me."
Duke
Sweet.
has, as you pulled it out, had started taking off some of the extra accoutrement that he wears and just kind of leans down, "Keep playing," and will stand up and go over to Scree and offer a hand.
Oh.
I promised you a free lesson.
Yes! Scree enthusiastically takes a hand.
And as music is happening around, Duke will just slowly teach Scree some classic old style homey folk dancing that he learned from his mom.
Can I roll performance to see how well I'm learning?
Yes, and you get bardic inspiration.
Excellent.
4. No, +2. That's a 6.
And the
Plus
bardic
a D6.
Inspiration
No,
plus
no,
a
no.
D6.
It's a 6.
It needs 6.
Scree's so excited to learn that they keep on like trying to do the moves before
Stepping on
Duke
top.
shows them.
No, that's so sweet. Oh.
And eventually, as the night goes on, fucking Duke will 100% drag Lavender in to start dancing too, grabbing a couple of the folks around to just kind of create this high energy.
Lav will make sure Puddle's included in the dance too, with his little stubby feet.
Then whenever all of the like the dancing and like the partying more settles down to just like the four of them hanging out near the fire with like other friends like maybe asleep, Kerr is gonna give a look over to Scree and be like, where did you learn to use that fancy flasher of yours?
Are you the this? It pulls out like the Shizord.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it before.
You know, it's yeah, I had it for a while. I learned a lot from Chester actually.
Looks over to see Chester snoring.
So you know, I just a lot from him and you know, like other peers growing up, just watching a lot of people mostly till more recently. And I've been getting a lot better with it since meeting Chester. So, you know.
No, you're really good.
Yeah, thanks. Just suddenly very like, shucks.
No, I mean, I feel like this is a good bunch. Brings out the best in all of us.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty good with your muscles.
Oh, you think? And then he like flex, like and
Just, like,
then goes back
casually.
to struggling. No, it's alright. I've had my share of luck with friends.
What do you mean?
I get angry and I get impatient sometimes. So it's hard to keep a group together when you are a little, you know.
Are you kidding? What you did back there was awesome.
Nah.
No, you just straight up. I'm pretty sure you impaled the bird with its own foot. Like, I think that's what that story ended up being.
That's what it ended up turning into, right? I like twisted it back and then like was stabbing it with its own talons in the throat.
Yeah. No, it was wild.
It's legendary.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like anger issues or not, I'm glad you're here. I don't know if we would have scared off the bird otherwise.
I don't know. I think Lav can be pretty terrifying when she needs to be.
It's still like flush. Definitely has had a few more drinks. I'm very precious.
Yeah, yeah, you are. The like Scree
Very
catches
nice
her
game.
as she's like about to like
Arr.
fall over.
Definitely celebrating in the the revelry of it all.
Mhm.
Scree kind of like pours out some water. Yeah, here, have another watermelon juice. It's water.
Kerr will actually have another watermelon juice while you drink water. Definitely, it's very good for you.
Lots of vitamins.
Is that what they are?
Mm.
Duke, what was that one game that we played back when we all met up?
Secrets?
Yeah!
Secrets.
Are you suggesting another round?
Absolute. I don't have any dice on me. Can I borrow one?
I've got dice on me. Don't worry. And we'll pull out
Oh, perfect.
sixes. I'm gonna use one that I can actually read.
Are we doing sixes or are we doing 20s?
D6s.
I don't have a physical one. I'm using D&D Beyond.
Okay.
What?
This comment, but that Duke does.
That Duke does have shiny dice.
All right. Ready? And
So-
roll.
One round.
Oh, wow, we all got different. Oh, who's? It's free. We're good.
I think it might.
There's a slow buzzing noise in the air. It's all the insects.
Yeah, those darn loud fireflies.
Yeah, right? Fucking fireflies.
I think it might be KJ's. It's fine.
It probably is.
I got a 5. I'm sitting pretty at
All right.
5.
2. So how does the secrets work again?
Well, Lav and Scree rolled the same number, so you two have to roll against each other to see who is sharing the
Roll off.
secret.
Wait,
I thought it was the lowest number.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is it the-
Is it?
That's right. That is how it works. Well, then it's her, because I got 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a 2.
Secret.
Lavender kind of
Muscle
like poking
secret.
hers, like
Muscle secret. Ah. I don't know if I'm supposed to go back home. Left on the bad terms with my mom. So that's my
What
secret.
happened?
S- my parents are good people, I think. They don't understand me, and I can't be what they want them to be. Want me to be. Looking at the guitar that he's holding, he kind of like rubs a thumb over like the chords, just like the ones on the handle, on the neck of the guitar. This one's new. Before I left, me and my mom were having a bit of a fight, and she broke mine.
Oh shit.
I mean, I was being a right shit, but I didn't know what I was going to do if I stayed. So I don't think I'm allowed back, maybe.
you can come home with me.
Oh, is that a promise, love?
I'll make up a bed.
Oh, Buttons, you are adorable. And like we'll like boop her on the nose.
Love, I think think it might be time for bed. Separate bed.
But in my hollow, you can come home in the hollow.
Oh, is it cozy there?
Mm-hmm. I make lots of tea. Do you like tea?
I'll drink anything you give me.
Okay.
You know what? I like this plan. After all this, we're all moving into Labs Hollow. We'll all live there.
Okay. I don't moved out.
It's
so
not
here's
my
what's
home, though.
available. Yeah. Do you don't want to come to?
Lav, I adore all of you, but I have my people. I can't abandon.
No, they can come too. We'll all live there.
It's your circus
It'll be a
people.
party.
Yeah.
I was like trying to count like
How many people can I fit? Well, everyone sleeps on the floor.
Well, everyone in the floor,
Well,
2 in a hammock.
It doesn't, as nice as it sounds, it doesn't quite work that way. We travel. We don't settle down. I've never had a permanent home. I've always been traveling around.
Not with that. Hear me out.
I don't know
hear
what I
me
would
out.
do in one place.
Hear me out. We all move into Lav's house. We open up a circuit, like just a permanent circus. And then we could like build actual permanent structures for like acts and stuff. Kurt never has to go home. I never have to go home. We have a new home, you know? And after we find everyone, they can move in too. We'll start a hotel. A circus hotel.
So
Circus hotel,
people
eh?
don't really
Can I be a fire breather?
To my little home much. They're a little scared. So I don't know if it'd be like the best place. for
Is it
circus.
scary?
Some of it, yeah. It's okay. I live up top. The roofs are what's scary.
Look at us. We're a bunch of strapping, beefy people. We'll be fine.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, some of you. I'm not.
Now with that attitude, Kirk can give us a workout routine.
I'm a sleek, slender acrobat. Muscles don't become me.
Pretty boy.
Oh, so you're soft, is what you're saying.
On that
Did
note,
Lab just say
He's
pretty
good.
boy?
Screw's gonna kind of step and be like, I think it might be time for bed. I think it might be sleep time.
Alright.
Kind of like start getting ready for bed.
Duke will actually
Alright.
start leading Lab over to her bed setup to set her down before going back over to the fire.
The music's so pretty.
Oh my god.
Like, it's not difficult for Duke to lead her, but she's just like, no, but pretty music.
And we'll just lay her down, put a blanket over top of her, pat her head, and then turn around and go sit back out with the others and just suggest one more round?
Scree's going to sleep.
She's also on the bed, yeah. Kerr was just like continually like strumming next to like looking into the fire, and like we'll just like nod. Just take another drink.
Duke will. What instruments do I have? Duke will pull out a pan flute and just add a soft melody to your strumming.
Did you just pick that up in the circus then? Or someone specifically teach you?
No. My dad taught me how to play the pen.
Must be nice.
I think you would like my parents. Ma would
I think
love
I would.
you. You actually remind me about one of my siblings.
Huh? You got a few, not just your twin.
Oh yeah. God, how many is it at this point? There's Derek, who's the oldest, then Danielle, the second, then me and Duke, which brings us to 4. And then there's Desi, who's the second youngest, and Damien, who's the youngest. So there's about 6 of us.
Oh, that's a fun bunch.
Hmm.
There's the 5 of us with my and my mom. We actually got a set of twins too. They're still little though. Little ones. They're fun.
You actually remind me of my youngest brother, Damien. He's got a lot of the energy and spunk that you've got. Wears his hair very similar too.
Soon everyone will be doing it like this. Just like flex it. I miss him.
I will tell you though, you mentioned if you could be the fire breather. Not a friend who you could talk to. He's more of a lizard folk and he's more built for that kind of a thing, but
You saying I'm not built for it? And then, like, again, flex.
I'm talking he actually breathes, but is the thing. His body is legitimately built for it.
So you're saying he has a head start?
Sure.
Fun. Light up the night.
You're a lot better at playing that guitar than you say you are. Just so you know.
It's alright. Had a couple of play along bands with some friends. We actually were starting to get pretty good with the last one. But musicians, talent, you know.
It's more of Eric and Gary.
Someone else getting the Alpine pause. I got the Alpine pause.
How much of that was lost?
All of it. You opened your mouth and then like that last sentence disappeared. Yep.
Duke just kind of hops a little bit, and it's more of arrogance and greed than it is talent. But if you find the right people, things are a lot better.
It's hard to trust that it's the right people. It all slips away so fast.
I'd love for you guys to meet them one day.
Me too. I think we will. We seem to be
Maybe by some fated something or other, we'll be able to travel towards my home. You'll get to see my part of the world.
I'm back. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Kerr was going to ask, what part of the world is that? World building.
It's the Velvet Clasp.
Oh.
This side of the map. I know we don't actually have a map in game, but
I think we do.
Duke
we
just kind of.
We were on a boat. We had a map, probably.
Did we have a map of the entire world?
Either Duke or Scree would have had a full map just because you've both traversed
Because we
the entirety of it.
Duke, from the notebook that he often pulls out, there's a pocket in the back that he pulls a folded piece of paper from and unfolds it to show you a map of worlds, and just kind of points kind of here, a little bit outside of the edge of the forest. I've traveled a lot over the years. Bureaucracy like me don't stay in one place. We're travelers. We travel in, believe it or not, groups that are called businesses. But been all over, and it's fun. You get to see wonderful faces and revisit places every once in a while. See familiar faces. But when you live under the velvet clasp,
Right, dangerous.
life can be fun, but it's hard because everything is very regulated, and the higher forces have their wants, and they're very good at getting what they want. And obviously, we always stick to the laws and the rules of the land, because
Obviously.
we're good people.
Very good people.
But they don't like us. So they like to make our life a little more difficult, but really stopped us. It became kind of a game for us to be as sickly sweet and kind as possible so that they couldn't actually do anything to hurt us. But they hate us nonetheless.
It's very shitty of them.
From some good stories, though, can turn it into material for acts.
Do you ever wonder if you travel so much because you like to travel or because you have to? Is there a choice?
I mean, it's always kind of been tradition. So I've never really thought about it that much. It just kind of was how it was. I don't know very many people who are kind to settle down in one place. Our adventurous and curious spirit kind of keeps us moving. Every once in a while, I hear stories of one who joined an adventuring party or a guild or something and went off on these grandiose adventures. But I found that with my troop. Just as many adventures with less danger.
Your little business. And with your family too, so that's nice. It's special. Is that what you're looking to get back?
Well, I've never been away from my brother, my twin, Jet. We've always been with each other. Always the rock that each other could count on, and even though our interest lied in different places, we found a way to make it work for both of us to be able to stay together. It's more of the adrenaline searching, danger loving individual, and I was more of I found a joy in dance. Went to school for it, actually. Trained in a couple different kinds. And there was something different about being able to express yourself with your body in such graceful ways. But we found a way to make both work. because there is quite a bit of an adrenaline rush in being an aerialist and doing that kind of performing, because if you get it wrong, a lot of bad things can happen. That's part of the reason Jet and I knew, what's her name? Willow to begin with. Our mom and us would make a trip to go see her to get cells and things, because for you're perfect, you make a lot of mistakes.
Not the same mistake many times, though. Can't afford it. I hope Willow's alright. No. Chester is
tough.
still looking for her. It's a tough little bitty. Very cute.
It's at this point where, kind of drifting through the camp, kind of slightly between you two, as you sit, the fire is kind of starting to die down at this point. The kernel's pretty much gone. This light teal blue orb drifts through and just starts hovering above Chester, who, after a moment, wakes up, rifles around in his satchel, and pulls out a small golden acorn. Just tosses it up in the air. The blue will-o-wisp captures it within itself and then disappears. You see Chester kind of chuckle to himself or curling back up into sleep, settling back down.
Got a long way to go.
And so,
This is just the start.
Another day ahead. Get some sleep, Snowflake. You're gonna need it tomorrow.
It's not my name.
But you don't go by Duke with your
so
friends.
you all hunker down.
Duke had stood up to start walking over to his little bed, and you use his name, and he just stops. Looks over his shoulder a little bit. Those little nicknames you give aren't what my friends call me either. And then we'll tuck down to go to bed.
And Duke Kerr just like straight up like leans back against near the fire and just goes to sleep. The most uncomfortable position.
So, hunkering down for the night. The music around you starts dying down. The forest grows quiet. The revelry replaced with the light breathing and snoring of all the critters and furfolk around you. That is where we'll end tonight's session. And we'll pick back up next week or whenever we play again. Not next week.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up with you guys deciding where you want to go next in your journey together as your little critter band. And we will pick up with you all one level higher.
Oh, shit.
As you've all gained a level of this. Level 4.
Level
And a
4.
long
let's
rest,
go.
right?
Wow.
Like quite a while.
And a long
Yep,
rest.
and you all
God.
get a long rest. Yeah, you can hit that long
And
rest
a long
button.
rest.
Thank Christ, I need it so badly.
Good soup.
Good soup.
Very good. soup.
Good
Y'all are the
soup.
best beans.
Good
I love playing with
soup.
y'all so much. Y'all so great. I love it. So good.
The freaking shrews.
This fucking
The
I love you so
shrews.
much.
Also, the fact that like Alpine Shadows becoming like a call and response makes me
It's
very
okay.
happy.
It is my
Shadow.
actual like KJ. My favorite.
Level up.
Duke.
Level up.
Might get annoyed of it pretty fast.
You know, this is the curse that Duke did not foresee about having like a really cool like stage name or like whatever, is that now everyone is gonna be like, oh, that's the Alpine Shadow. And now it just evolves into its own
response.
monster. I love it.
But
I love it so much.
we also revealed middle names and twins name and twins stage name.
Lore.
So you have
So
the
much lore.
Alpine Shadow and Jet Light.
Mhm.
Not to be
Which
confused with
none of the
JetBlue.
party knows.
None of the party knows.
Good soup.
Good soup. I love
Good
playing with y'all
soup.
so much.
Good soup.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
Good
gonna
soup.
make this a thing. You guys, 7 more followers to go
Yeah.
to the giveaway.
7 more
Oh, yeah.
followers.
7 more
Yeah.
followers to go
Look
to
at
the
that.
giveaway.
Yeah.
So
once we
close.
hit
Maybe by next time we will have hit it.
dice. Ooh.
Would you
Tell
like a
your
handful
friends
of
they can
mine?
have pretty clickety clacky.
Shiny. Clicky.
They're
Math
beautiful and gorgeous.
rocks. Math rocks. Love math rocks.
They're
So
amazing.
delicious.
You
Which
can have
this
a
is
matching
the
set, you
start. I
guys.
finished it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, once we hit 250 followers here on Twitch, we will set the details for the giveaway after that. But if anyone else wants to join us on our furry fun adventures, please do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing
So,
will ever go wrong.
Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time. Keep an eye on all of our socials. We have some things to figure out for next stream, but so keep an eye on our socials. We'll keep you updated, and be good to each other. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Share some muscle.